Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at the Home Depot in Allen, Texas. You will not believe what I found at this particular location. But before we get to that, please make sure you're hitting the like button and also subscribing to my channel. I do 1 hour plant shopping videos daily, and I usually premiere them around 7 or 8 p.m. So let's check this Home Depot out. You know, I had an inkling to go out at this particular Home Depot just because it was right across from the Lowe's, which I also filmed some footage for. But as you guys walk over here, we can see that we have the Vigoro hanging baskets fixture. We're looking at some spider plants right over here. Now these Vigoro plants are for $19.98. This one is a nice full hanging basket of spider plants. Really like that a lot. You know, for the value that you get for Vigoro hanging baskets, it's not bad at all. I like this though. Look at this Syngonium. Nice, full and lush, and I love pink plants, so this is just a bonus. You can see there's so many plants in this particular hanging basket. So with Syngoniums, very easy to care for plants. If you're new to this channel, my name is Richie, and I love Syngoniums, and that's one of my favorite plants. Very easy to take care of. Right over here, we've got another hanging basket full of some Monstera adansonii, and who could forget looking at a hanging basket of Epipremnum aureum golden pothos for $19.98. One of the easiest house plants you can possibly take care of. And if you look right over here, so they have these combination planters. This is a Ficus lyrata or a fiddle fig leaf tree with a bunch of neon pothos as kind of like a top covering of it. This one is for $139. Not a bad price considering this is a very large Ficus lyrata already, and you got a neon pothos. Now, Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf definitely need a lot of bright indirect light, lots of light actually, but with the neon pothos as well, the more bright indirect light or light you give it, the more yellow those foliage will look like. So that's really exciting. It doesn't look like this Home Depot has quite all of the plants loaded up on these shelves just yet, but you can see right here, Spathiphyllum or Peace Lily. This one isn't in full bloom yet, but you know, I'm not really a big fan of the blooms. I just love looking at Spathiphyllum leaves. They have such great texture. And right over here, we've got another combination of Ficus lyrata plus neon pothos for $139. So these are by Nature's Way, and they consider these like ready to go plants. So if you have an interior space you want to put them, or even a patio, shaded patio, that'd be awesome. And then right over here, we are looking at an Alocasia portula plus Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. Gorgeous combination. Love how this Alocasia is getting really large. I would love to be able to grow an Alocasia this large. You know, in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at, for those that are new, you can actually grow Alocasia bulbs in your landscape and they will always return. They'll go dormant obviously, but when it gets hot around the summertime, they will pop back up. But I just want to admire all the gorgeous flowers, and just, it's a nice, bright, sunny day. And, you know, going out and doing plant shopping, especially on my day off, it's just very therapeutic and relaxing. So we're just going to take a look at all of these plants right over here. You can see these gorgeous looking cordyline plants, these Hawaiian tea plants, and this is another combination planter. But look at how vibrant that red color is. This is absolutely stunning. It doesn't even look like a real plant. I really like that a lot. That just really inspires me to grow cordyline or tea plants. These can actually be grown in full sun, and I would actually recommend growing a cordyline plant in full sun because you will get the best coloration. You'll get really intense reds with it, or pinks. And here we've got some Kalia lilies. I find Kalia lily blooms very adorable. I mean, look at that. It's got a very delicate, subtle, but simple look about their blooms. And I love the color of this nice little red, you know, color is really, you know, just really complimentary. And I do like flowering plants as well. I've been considering getting more flowering plants in my indoor space. You know, I just recently got my plant room together, so I'll be able to house a lot more plants. And over here, we're looking at a variegated Tasmanian flax lily. That's really cool. I thought it was like a spider plant, like a variegated spider plant. This is for $12.98, and it is being released by Smart Plants. Smart Plants is actually another nursery that really sources a lot of succulents and cacti for Home Depot. So that's really interesting that they got that. And then we've got a bunch of hanging baskets of wax begonias. You know, just recently, I didn't realize that begonias were also grown for their flowers. I just really thought they were more of a foliage plant, but it's nice to see they've got a bunch of hanging baskets. And then on you know, we're looking at a bunch of ferns right over here, some Boston ferns. It looks like every big box store or local nursery has a bunch of ferns. Not sure why, but it's the season where you're seeing a bunch of ferns. And look at this Acer palmatum, or a Japanese maple. This one is the typical red bloodgood Japanese maple. For $109, that is not a bad price at all for a Japanese maple. It's already fairly large and established. What I love about Japanese maples are just the elegance of the foliage. I love that scarlet red look about it, and then when the sun hits it and really illuminates the leaves, it is just stunning. I've always been a fan of Japanese maples. I love Japanese gardens. I'm working on my backyard to be like a Japanese garden oasis. It is a work in progress, just because Japanese maples or Acer palmatum are very slow growing. They don't put as much growth, and they are a little bit finicky when it comes to hotter weather. So they are a bit of a challenge growing them in Texas, and they just don't do as well with like harsh weather. You have to really give them some shade, but they also need bright light. So there's just a balance that you would need if you're growing, you know, Japanese maples in Texas. Here we've got some more cordyline Hawaiian tea plants. This is by Garden Tropics. This one is for $7.98, just a starter plant. And you can see right over here, there's some pink. I just like the cordyline plants though with the red that I just saw recently earlier in this video. I might end up getting one of the larger ones just because I kind of want instant gratification. I'm not sure if you guys are like that as well, where like, yes, most of us want to grow plants and, you know, see them grow larger, or do you ever just want to get a plant and just say instant gratification, I have this large plant? So there are a couple plants that I would like to do that with. And, you know, this cordyline plant, I think, even though it is a fast growing plant, that might be something I might visit later down the line. And then this is an interesting one. This is a cordyline red star. I thought it was some type of Dracaena, but it is a cordyline plant or a tea plant. This one has more of like a maroon, magenta, almost a chocolate look about it. Really nice dark foliage. I love dark foliage plants. And this one is available to buy at this particular Home Depot. So when I actually walked into this Home Depot, I thought that they just didn't have any plants, but it looks like a lot of their indoor plants, landscaping plants are all kind of lumped into the outdoor section. I was a little bit worried that they didn't have a selection, but you can see here, I love red plants, dark foliage plants, and Japanese maple is stunning. My Japanese maples are doing well, and I'm really excited about that. And you can see right here, this is a huge basket of fern for $19.98. I'm not really a fern fan. It doesn't really interest me, but if I were to add some ferns, I would definitely do a bird's nest fern. That's one fern I would add to my collection. It does get pretty large. I'm not really into the Boston ferns. Maybe a Boston tiger stripe fern, a variegated fern, but that's about it. And then you can see over here some more gorgeous Japanese maples. Now the thing is with these Acer palmatum, you really want to try to get these in the ground as soon as possible because they need some time for the roots to establish. At least in Texas, if you try to plant them after like in May, that might be a little bit too late. Like the best time is now. Otherwise it will get a little too hot. And Japanese maples, when it's a little hot, the leaves will start to crisp up and burn. But you can see all of the gorgeous hanging baskets here. I love that it's a beautiful day today. The sun is out, and we're just going to keep looking at some plants. Some indoor plants are coming up. I just want to show you some of these landscaping plants. So I hope you plant foldies will still stick around and watch some of these plants, like these Beautiful coral bell plants. Look at that gray, that velvety texture, and then even the undersides of the leaves, that purple is absolutely stunning. I love looking at these plants, and these plants, everybody did mention that you can potentially grow outdoor plants indoors. It just really depends on the lighting. I would say with these particular plants, they would just need a lot more bright and direct light. A lot of these plants will say, they can handle, they handle shade, but I'm not sure. Like, I am planning on trying to grow 3 particular plants that are really meant for outdoors, indoors, just because I like the dark foliage and the purple look about it. Be sure to check my next video, which will be premiering tomorrow, about purple plants from the outdoor landscape going indoors. But you can see here we've got a bunch of coral bell plants. I've grown these before in planters. They're very easy to grow. They do like partial shade and sun. They get better coloration when they get that bright and direct light. That morning sun is really good for them. And you can see right here, Proven Winners has a lot of diversity when it comes to just these new releases for coral bells. Like this one right here is not bad at all. And this is for $12.98. These are perennials. And for perennials, what that means is the plant will grow and will return back every season. What'll happen is it'll either go dormant or die off, but the root system will just remain dormant, and then it'll just grow back in the spring. And then you can see right here we've got some more coral bells. I do love that purple lavender look and then that gray look. These leaves almost remind me of begonias in a weird sort of way. I mean, let me know in the comments, plant folies, if you agree with me. If you've ever grown coral bell plants, these are awesome. And I do love the fact that Proven Winners has a lot of interesting hybrids, and you can see this one is in bloom. Really like that a lot. And you can see they've got a lot of flowering plants. I love seeing these kangaroo paws. I think kangaroo paws kind of belong into the succulent family or cacti family, but look at all the different types of blooms for the kangaroo paw. I particularly like the red and yellow blooms of the kangaroo paw. I don't know a lot about them, so for those that are familiar with kangaroo paw, please leave in the comments or in the live premiere chats. Just let me know about like the plant care needs and just plant care in general. I always love learning from you guys, and that's the thing about our plant community on GrowFolds. It's all about learning from each other. And for those that continue to go to my live premiere chats and chat, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. And you can see right here what a stunning cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. Like, I am in love with the red and the maroon. What a gorgeous looking plant. Like, I want to just buy that cordyline plant. It is in a combination planter with a bunch of petunias. I think that's really cool. It is definitely a cool little planter that you can put out in full sun. Now with the cordyline plant, you see how it's got darker foliage. The more light you give it, the better off it's going to be in terms of pushing out that really intense red. And I just like how the sun and the light hits it. You can see how it's just kind of illuminated. Really like that a lot. I think I might go and buy one of these cordyline plants. I just wish you can successfully grow cordyline plants indoors. The problem with cordyline plants is growing them indoors, they are very susceptible to spider mites. It's almost like impossible for them to not get spider mites. But hey, I've been able to grow a Hydra helix, or an English ivy, which, you know, most people they call it a spider mite magnet. So I might try growing a cordyline indoors. We're gonna see that. And right over here, we've got some lovely and elegant looking white impatiens. And look at all of these plants. And I haven't really, ventured out all over this little plant section at Home Depot, but you can see how they are very full and lush. And then we're gonna walk over here. So it looks like they are transferring a lot of the indoor plants, the Vigoro plants, over to the shaded part of outside. And you can see that this is our favorite, guys. This is another Hydra helix. or Hedera helix. I just like calling Hedera helix, but the correct way to say it is Hedera helix, which is basically in English ivy. If you've watched a lot of my previous videos, you know my love-hate relationship with that plant. It's just a challenging plant. And then here we've got another Sansevieria. All of these ceramic planters right here are for $8.98. These are by Nature's Way. So if you want a plant in a nice ceramic planter, Home Depot has it. These are the plants that you'd be able to see. Like you saw that there was a golden pothos. I'm going to walk over here and just show you guys an assortment of succulents. Succulents and cactus I don't really know a lot about, but what I do know is some people are really into it, so that's why I would like to at least feature some of it. Now this is one type of succulent I am not about. These are called the cosmic cactus. I find these extremely tacky. And the reason why I say they're extremely tacky, like you can see that these were like succulents that were painted a color. Like this one was painted blue and some of the paint is already coming off. I don't think it's really good for the plant just because the plant, there's like a layer of paint covering the plant. So it's probably preventing it from photosynthesizing. It's kind of like if you don't clean the dust off plants, they don't photosynthesize as well. I'm just not a fan. Now, if you are into that painted cactus, you know, more power to you, but that's just my personal opinion. And right over here, we've got a philodendron Prince of Orange. What a nice looking philodendron Prince of Orange. You can see that new leaf unfurling. It has like a really bright orange. I do like these type of philodendrons where they're more of like a clumping versus climbing type of philodendron. You don't necessarily have to put it up a pole, but what is cool about these types of philodendron like the Prince of Orange is they can get very large and wide, up to 3 to 4 feet. So that would be awesome to see that as a giant. And you can see here, we've got some proven winners, Ficus benjamina, and this one's called Over the Edge. These ones are for $29.98. I do like Ficus benjamina. The only thing is with these Ficus benjamina, which are basically like indoor trees, or you can grow them that way, very finicky in a sense that they need a lot of light. If you don't give them light, they will drop their leaves. Also, if you bring a Ficus benjamina at home and just place it somewhere, there is an acclimation period where potentially they will drop all of its leaves. Once it is happy again, it will just grow its leaves back. But you know, with Ficus, they just like consistency. Here is one of my favorite philodendrons, just because I love that yellow neon color. This is a philodendron lemon lime by Proven Winners. This one is for $19.98, and I do love the ceramic planter it's in. I like that it's got a matte finish about it. I'm not really into like shiny glazes. The texture on the planter is okay as well. I do prefer smoother surfaces, but you can see here what a nice looking philodendron lemon lime. Now this particular philodendron needs a potential moss pole or a plank for it to continue to grow up. And I do like this philodendron. So I first saw this philodendron Sun Red offered by Proven Winners. And what's interesting about it is the definite red burgundy look of the new leaves that unfurl. So it's basically like a philodendron Prince of Orange, but instead of orange leaves for the new leaves, this one has more like burgundy, almost like a caramel tone about it. I think you can get some more intense reds, but what a nice looking philodendron. And all of the philodendron I've featured so far are super easy to take care of. They need bright and direct light. Just make sure you don't overwater them. Just water them when they completely dry, when the soil is completely dry, and you'll be good to go. And then over here, we are going to be looking at some more Proven Winners plants. So it looks like the plant vendor hasn't gotten these out yet. They're still on racks, but what a nice looking H2O leaf bowl series, which is basically plants that are growing in hydroponics. So I've talked about hydroponics and basically growing plants in straight water instead of having a substrate like leca, pond, or soil. This has just got the roots and straight water. This one is a Dracaena Janet Craig. This is a Dracaena that I will always feature in my videos because Janet Craig Dracaenas are in every single big box store and even grocery stores. What an easy to grow plant. It's an underrated plant. All Dracaenas I feel like are underrated, but they can bring you joy in the fact that they are very low maintenance. And you can see right here, this is actually one of my favorite Dracaenas that I need to get. This is a Dracaena Urban Urchin by Proven Winners. What I love about this particular Dracaena, which is considered a Dracaena warneckii, is look at those roots, gorgeous, and then they've got the water in the bowl. But I just like that the leaves on this particular plant has so many different colors. You've got dark green, light green, white, a mint green, a yellow green. There's just a lot of colors going around it. And I like that it's just got, it looks like somebody just painted this plant. It doesn't even look real. But what I like about this Dracaena Urban Urchin is it will get large in time. It can get up to 3 to 4 feet tall. And the same thing, this Dracaena warneckii Lemon Lime. This goes back to the whole like lime, neon yellow type foliage plant. What a nice looking one. Now, all of these smaller Proven Winner H2O hydroponic bowls are for $19.98. It is a little bit pricey. So what I've done instead of buying these is I will buy like a plant and basically wash away all of the soil and then put it in a bowl, and voila, I've got me some hydroponics. All of my calatheas are doing amazing in my hydroponics. I don't ever have to worry about them like just becoming unhappy, and it's another way to grow plants. I've even transferred a bunch of my aglaonema into hydroponics. Here we've got a lemon button fern. It's a really nice looking one. This one says another starter plant by Proven Winners for $5.98. That's honestly not a bad price for this size plant, and you'll get some really cool looking plants. I know that I bought me a Tradescanthia Feeling Flirty by Proven Winners, which is basically a nice looking pink compact version of a Tradescanthia Nanook. But this lemon button fern, it's really cute as well. I do like the textures of the leaves. They look like buttons. And let's see what else we'll find right here. So this one is an oyster plant. This one is for $5.98. It's a pink urchin oyster plant. So you can see that the undersides of the leaves has that like lavender purple tone to it, and then you've got the green tone about it. I actually found something similar to that at Lowe's, which is really meant to be growing outdoors. So I'm gonna see if I can grow them indoors, but that one's a really nice looking plant. The thing about this plant is you're gonna have to cut it back because it can get leggy. And then right over here, we've got another Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. And pothos, like you can see how like the roots are very established. You can literally create your own hydroponic pothos bowl by just taking a bunch of cuttings and they will root. Like pothos are easy to root. You have basically a 99% guarantee that pothos cuttings will root in water and just give it 2 to 3 weeks. Here is just a solid green Peperomia obtusifolia, and this is a happy one because you can see that little rat tail looking thing. That is actually a bloom. And whenever you see plants that are blooming, especially tropical plants, you can tell that that plant is happy. It's gotten the best type of growing conditions and it's able to like potentially want to reproduce itself. So that's really cool. I like the look of this one. You know, they've got the variegated version. I ended up getting a variegated Peperomia obtusifolia with Golden Gate. That one's nice, but the green one is also good. Don't sleep on green plants, guys. Green plants are sturdy and strong and gorgeous. Here we've gotten a Photonia. This one is a Photonia Prime Time. I haven't ever seen this type of Photonia. This Photonia is more yellow versus like the pinks and the whites and the reds. This is really interesting as well. You can see that it starts off like it starts off yellow, but I think it darkens or hardens to like more of a green color. I think that's really cool. This is particularly a cultivar that was hybridized by Proven Winners, or at least that's my understanding. And you can see right here, they've got another Photonia. This is a typical one you will see with the white veining. Love Photonias. They are thirsty plants. So the only thing about thirsty plants are they definitely need a lot of water. Otherwise they kind of shrivel up. Not the best plant for me personally, just because I'm more of an underwaterer. And then right over here, what a gorgeous looking Alocasia Luterbachiana, I think that's how you pronounce it. I do intend to purchase this particular Alocasia. I've seen it before at another Home Depot, the one off of Prosper in Prosper, Texas. That would be one of the Alocasias I would get. Actually, The proven winner alocasias are amazing. I do love that they're very healthy and you can see the undersides of the leaves. I definitely want to get my alocasias going. They are a bit more of a finicky plant. They do require a little bit more high humidity, but yeah. And let's see what else we have right over here. We're just going to take a look at some more alocasia. So this one is an alocasia calculata. Wait. Oh my goodness. Do you see this? So this is, I just thought this was just like a regular Alocasia calculata, but do you see the leaves? Do you guys see these leaves? They've got some Aurea yellow tones about it, and this is not completely green. You can clearly see that there's some variegation. So this is a variegated sport Alocasia calculata. I am so excited. This is definitely going home with me. I was not intending to buy any plants. I really wasn't intending to, but there's no way I am gonna let this variegated alocasia for $29.99 not go home with me. And the reason why I want to buy this variegated alocasia is when it produces pups or corms or more baby ones, the genetics are going to be the same to where they're going to be more variegated Alocasia calculatas. Now, I don't know how rare the, variegated Alocasia calculatas are, but what I do know is as many times as I've done, plant shopping videos, I have yet to find a variegated sport type plant. You've seen some people find variegated sport Monstera deliciosas, but that is so cool. Leave it in the comments, my plant foldies, if you know if this plant is a variegated sport plant or if I'm just going crazy, if I'm seeing splotches, or if this is really a variegated alocasia. I think it is. Leave it in the comments or in the live premiere chats, but I am really interested to see. And actually, I'm going to be nosy. It looks like this is another variegated sport Alocasia calculata. It doesn't have nearly as much variegation as the other one, but you can clearly see there's some splotches here, and I like that. I'm probably going to get this one as well, even though it doesn't have nearly as much variegation. Who knows if it'll push out more, but look at that one. There's a little bit more variegation there. I don't mind spending the $29.98 for both, especially if it's sport variegated plants. Now, for my plant foldies or anybody watching this video, have you guys ever discovered sport variegated plants when you go plant shopping? Please leave in the comments. Let me know about your stories. I'd love to hear, but you can see here, I feel like I hit the jackpot. That is so cool. Even if the variegation isn't as pronounced, the fact that there is some subtleties with the variegation is really cool. I would assume that these Alocasia plants, these calculatas, were probably from the same batch. So whenever you find one, I definitely am a little bit more inspired to keep checking. But you can see right over here, what if I find a philodendron Florida green sport variegated? That'd be cool. Basically, a philodendron Florida green variegated is a Florida beauty, which I have already, but I do like the philodendron Florida green. What a beautiful looking plant. This is a plant that does require a little bit of a pole for it to really grow. And then Ficus umbellata, I do love the Ficus umbellata. Proven Winners calls this the lily pad plant. It does kind of look like lily pads. I do like the Ficus umbellata. I've seen a lot of plant styling, especially in Japan, where they use Ficus umbellata. They kind of bend the trunks and grow it into a really nice, elegant looking tree indoors. Ficus umbellata does require a lot of bright light, and it is susceptible to spider mites, but I ended up buying one at Home Depot not too long ago. That one was for $29.98. I do have to move my cart around, and I have to watch as I'm filming because I don't want somebody just picking up my variegated sport Alocasia. I mean, that's something I would fight over. So we'll see. But here is a gorgeous looking Monstera deliciosa for $29.98 by Proven Winners. Now I'm looking at pretty much every single plant to see if there's any more sport variegated plants on this one. Today is definitely one of my luckiest days. And you can see right over here, this is another Alocasia calculata. This one is a lot greener, although I do see some subtle variegation on the leaves. So again, that's really just interesting. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to be inspecting a lot of these plants, but you can see this is clearly a green Alocasia calculata, not a sport variegated one. It is a gorgeous looking Alocasia. I really was not intending to grow any more Alocasias, but if you were in my shoes, would you not get that sport variegated Alocasia? Like, look at that. I know that that's like the money shot for the leaves, and I'm hoping that it will continue to push out some stable variegation. Who knows? I might even share a couple of babies with my viewers and subscribers. And again, I want to take the time to, ask you guys, if you're already watching this video and haven't already, please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. It helps with the engagement. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button as well, hit the subscribe button and make sure your bell notifications are on. Again, I post daily plant videos every single day unless I'm not able to get to it. But I'm basically filming videos and editing videos when I get off of work. I do work a pretty demanding job. It's close to 9 to 10 hours a day. But, I have been able to balance that out for you guys, and I really enjoy the process. And you can see here what a gorgeous looking Alocasia pink dragon. Love the purple undersides of the leaves, and then I love the pink stems. This one has several little babies coming out of it, and that's what I like about Alocasias. Somebody asked me what the it plant would be. I think Kathy, my very loyal plant foldy from Canada, asked what I thought was the it plant for this year, and I do believe it's going to be variegated Alocasia. And you can see here we've got some more golden pothos. Now this Nanthe setosa gray star is being released again. I definitely want to buy this, and I'm going to grow it in hydroponic. Not today, but that's such a gorgeous looking plant because I love the gray look. Look at that metallic shine. Look at how delicate the veining is. And then the purple undersides, these are gorgeous. They are a bit finicky because it's kind of in that same realm of Stromanthe, Calatheas, and Marantha plants. They don't like to be watered with tap water. You really want to give them purified water, rainwater, distilled water. Hard water doesn't do very well for these plants because they will end up browning or crisping up. But the good thing about Thinanthe plants or those types of prayer plants are they are not toxic, so they are pet friendly and pet safe. And then we can just walk over here, more plants. I'm just, I'm not saying frantically looking for any more sport variegated plants, but I mean, if you were in my shoes, like what if I found like a philodendron variegated Birkin? That'd be cool. But this is just a typical philodendron Birkin for 1998. This one has pretty decent variegation. I would say the best philodendron Birkins that are highly variegated I found at Kroger, which is a grocery store that's pretty much all over Dallas, but they call that philodendron a philodendron white margin. It's interesting how plants have different names, but you can see right over here, you can see that this is another Alocasia calculata. It has a little bit more sport variegation right here. It's more green than yellow, but you can see that there is just some subtle variegation, but most of this plant is actually green. The other Alocasia I found, you definitely can tell, like, look, it's just pretty green. The leaves are pretty green. So I don't know if these were like collected corms that, proven winners grew from babies and didn't realize that they were variegated. I'm pretty sure, when you're producing hundreds and hundreds of plants, sometimes you don't oversee those unique variegated plants, those sport variegated plants. So for those that don't think they'll ever find a variegated plant, I would say if you're going plant shopping or even window plant shopping, check all the monsteras. Check all of the philodendron. Just check all the plants like I do. Now I'm going to be on higher alert just to see if I can find more variegated plants. I think that's really cool. I would love to see a sport variegated Ficus umbellata, for instance. Now, this is a nice looking Ficus umbellata. I love how bright and yellow the new leaf coming out is. And these plants are just really nice. They almost remind me of looking like an oversized weed, at least the leaf shape and texture, but it is a nice looking plant. With Ficus umbellata, you need to give it a lot of bright light. Any type of ficus plant, even if somebody says they can, tolerate low, medium light, you just need to give it bright light. I know that ficus plants do better in that realm, just because in my experience, when I give them lower light conditions, they start to shed their leaves. Here is a beautiful Dracaena warneckii, but this one is the white jewel. Look at that variegation as well. And this is in another H2O bowl. So I could have gotten the white jewel, the lemon lime, and then the urban urchin. That would be a cool little collection. But I don't know if I really want them in hydroponics. I kind of want to grow them in like soil substrate, just because Dracaena, you can underwater them, not give them as much bright light, and they will still do well. So that's one of those plants that I would consider an easy to care for plant, a beginner plant, but needless to say, you'll still get some really nice growth from it. But as you guys can see, we've got a lot of plants that still need to be like put on shelves. I'm just going to keep panning over here and just showing you more of the plants. So that is an Alocasia calculata right there, just the green form. Unless I am going crazy, Plant Folies, please validate that I found me a sport variegated Alocasia calculata. And you can see that is that Hawaiian tea plant I was talking about. We've got a bunch of large Monstera deliciosas right here. Surprisingly, I don't have as large of a Monstera deliciosa anymore. I have one that I need to repot in a bigger planter. And then you can see here, we've got some more gorgeous looking cordyline Hawaiian tea plants. Love that pink, love that red, but I think I want the wider form leaves, which is back there. It is a little bit pricey. I think it's like $39.98, but it's not bad. And you can see right across, we've got some ZZ plants. ZZ plants are one of the easiest plants that you can take care of. And then they've got some more Dracaenas right above it. And yeah, I don't know, Plant Folies, let me know what you guys think. I'm super excited that I was able to find a variegated sport plant. And right here is what I was talking about, these gorgeous looking cordyline Hawaiian tea plants here. Look at that bright red over here. I need this to be outside in my front patio. I'm going to grow it in a planter, a really nice looking planter, and we'll see where it takes us. And here we've got some gorgeous looking Monstera deliciosa. So everybody's all about the variegated Monsteras, even me. But you know, the green form, I truly believe is gorgeous. If you haven't seen my plant nursery shop video of Cultivar, which is a rare plant shop in Texas, check out that amazing video. I feature a just regular green Monstera deliciosa that the owners grew several years back, and it's just a massive plant. And you can see here we've got some gorgeous looking proven winter plants. I keep going back to these plants right here. The vendor is still working on it. I feel like I'm distracting her because I'm freaking out. And you can see my my shopping cart right there as I'm filming. Don't worry. Like, I was watching my alocasias because I really did see a couple of people kind of staring at it, and I had to edit out that part of the video. But I was like, hey, those are my plants, because somebody was about to pick up this plant. Like, I can't do that. You know that this plant is a sport variegated Alocasia calculata. Anyways, let me calm down. I am super excited. I did want to show you guys just some more of these plants, and let's just kind of like enjoy the scenery here. I'm just going to walk through and show you the rest of the plants that they have available at this Home Depot. And I just want to pan over one last time to show you these gorgeous looking cordyline plants, stunning. And so I'm going to pan over the rest of just the outside of this Home Depot. Really excited that I was able to go to this Home Depot out in Allen, Texas. This is right off of McDermott Road. So the next location we're going to go to is one of my favorite Kroger Marketplace to go plant shopping. This is the one off of Frisco, right off of Custer Road. So if you are a local plant foldy, you can visit this one. This one actually has some really good selections of plants. Their plants are typically healthy. And right off the bat, you can see right here, we've got some peace lilies. All of these plants are starting at $24.99. And we've got some more cordyline plants here. These ones are a little bit more leggy. I prefer the ones that we just saw at Home Depot, but let me know in the comments, plant foldies, if you haven't already, about just cordyline plants. And you can see the entrance right here. We are in Frisco, Texas, and we're about to walk in here and see what plants they have. Like, what a nice setup they have. And you can see right off the bat, whenever you go to grocery store plant shopping, you will always find houseplants, indoor plants in the floral department. So they've got a lot of Phalaenopsis orchids here, several varieties, several sizes. And then check this out, we've got some Azalea Simpsonii or indoor azaleas. These ones are for $19.99. Look at how gorgeous this is. And the thing about Azalea Simpsonii, if you do not water them, they will decline in health very quickly. These are plants that are very thirsty and very finicky. So just an update on my Azalea Simcii that I got on clearance at this particular Kroger. One died because it just dried out. Again, these plants, as much as I love these azaleas, I don't know if they're the best fit for me because they require a lot of water. Like, they don't want to obviously sit in water, but at the same time, you never want to let their soil dry out completely. The roots on azaleas in general are very fine and don't really take up a lot of water. So you just need to make sure that you do. Now, these smaller versions right here are $9.99. I think I might need to, if I'm going to get some more azaleas, I need to make sure that I'm getting one that is, smaller like that instead of the larger ones, because it was a little bit more tough for me to take care of them. I still have my variegated sport Azalea Simcii. I haven't found one of those versions yet, but you can see how gorgeous these plants are, as well as the Phalaenopsis orchids. My viewers that often see my videos, I will feature flowering plants. I'm really trying to diversify my plant, the plants that I feature on my plant shopping videos, but I am partial to the azaleas. Like, I love azaleas. I have that type of relationship with azaleas. It's the same thing I have with like Hydra Helix or those Hedera Helix, English Ivy. I love them, but for some reason they don't love me back because they're so finicky. They're just a little bit more challenging, and it's a lesson to learn. Like, I was all about the azaleas, but they are just a challenging plant. They need to stay hydrated, and right now, at least in my with my hectic schedule, it's a little bit more tough for me to take care of plants that just require a little bit more water. And right over here we do have a Hydra Helix. This Hedera Helix, which is the correct way to say English Ivy, is for $9.99. This one's in a 4.5-inch planter. Now, all of the plants we're seeing, like this palm plant right over here, the plants that are sourced out at Kroger grocery stores typically come from Mason Farms. Now, Mason Farms, surprisingly, is a nursery out in New Mexico. So this one right here is an Alocasia Black Velvet. I've seen some really cool Alocasias. Like, one Alocasia I found at Kroger, for instance, was an Alocasia Stingray, and it was also for $19.99. This one's in a 6-inch planter. So there's a lot of cool things that I will say grocery plant shopping. You probably will get the most cost-effective pricing. Like, I am in love with Palea plants. This one is a Palea aluminum plant. This one is for $9.99 in a 4.5-inch planter. I love Palea plants because of the metallic shine they have on the leaves. They're fairly easy to take care of. They're a little bit more thirsty, but not nearly as thirsty as like a fern or even like an Azalea Simcii. So you just want to make sure that you keep that particular plant hydrated. And then here we got another Hydra Helix. Now say it again with me, guys. Hydra Helix. I just like saying that. I don't know, I'm silly. But I do like English Ivy. And then we have this Ficus lyrata over here for $13.99. My Ficus lyrata is doing so amazing. And guess how much I paid for it? And it was in that size. 99 cents. I happen to go to another local grocery store called Sprouts. So that's the thing. You can go to grocery stores and find some gorgeous looking plants. Like, look at this Hydra Helix. This one is a Gold Baby English Ivy for $9.99 in a 4.5-inch planter. And I will say Kroger probably has the best pricing for Epipremnum aureum, neon pothos, or pothos in general. You can get the 6-inch ones for $9.99. Typically 6-inch pothos planters are usually like $16.99, maybe $12.99, but $9.99 is not bad. I actually got clearance plants or reduced plants from Kroger, and I got it for like $2, that neon pothos. And you can see right here we've got some oxalis plants. St. Patty's Day is over, and you can see this is reduced to $3.85. Now, I did ask this during a live premiere chat the other day if we could grow shamrock or oxalis indoors, and people said yes. So I might go back to this Kroger and purchase this plant. But again, me spending that money on those variegated sport alocasia kind of blew my budget for this week is in terms of plants, but you can see here, this is a gorgeous looking purple one, purple oxalis. This is for $3.85 as well. So that's what I love about Kroger plants. A lot of times, if you are lucky, you can walk in when they reduce the cost of the plant. I really like that a lot, just because Kroger or any type of grocery store, they really make sure that their plants are top notch. They take care of their plants. I believe they pretty much treat them like fresh produce, so they have to keep them fresh, and they'll reduce them if they have some kind of cosmetic damage. But you can see all of these aluminum plants are just perfection. $9.99. It almost makes me want to pick up one again and just start another Pilea aluminum plant. This is the classic Pilea plant that I first started out with. Really interested in getting more Pilea plants. I have 3 in my collection now, and they're doing amazing. I even have the variegated version of this, much slower growing, but I'm hoping that once it takes off, I can propagate them. And they're very easy to root in water as well. You do want to pinch them back and trim them back in order to keep them bushy. Otherwise, they'll get leggy. That's the only problem I would say with Pilea plants. And you can see this is for $3.85. These green shamrock plants, these oxalis, really cool. And this one is happy too, because you can see that it's in bloom. I have to start visiting more Kroger grocery stores, because they really do have some interesting looking plants. They do reduce their plants or clearance out their plants. Like this one right here is a really nice looking one. I probably should have bought one of these plants. I mean, I wouldn't be losing a lot of money if this one died. $3.85 for a 6-inch potted up oxalis is not bad at all. And then you can see right here, they've just got tons of Pilea plants. Like I feel like this Kroger just got recently restocked, so I'm very excited to be able to find a bunch of plants. And you can see right here, they've got a white Fittonia. I love Fittonias, the look of Fittonias, at least the care, not so much. I haven't had the best luck in growing Fittonias. I either overwater them or underwater them, and they just get really crispy. They are very particular with the amount of water they get. Like if you don't water them, they'll start to brown up and crisp up. If you overwater them, they will brown up and crisp up. So there's not a lot of winning with Fittonia plants. And here they've got some Costafar's trending tropical plants, but we'll take a look at that after we look at this one right here. This is a trending tropical. So I will say most trending tropicals in self-watering planters, like at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, are for $19 and plus cents. This one is for $16.99. So they're trending tropical plants at Kroger's are the cheapest ones or most cost-effective ones out of all of the trending tropicals. So I will be going particularly to Kroger marketplaces and trying to find more trending tropicals. And you can see here, polka dot plants. The pink ones are really nice. I do like how this one looks. And this one's for $9.99 by Mason Farms. Again, that's the plant supplier for Kroger. Let me know in the comments, plant foldies, if you've grown polka dot plants. They're gorgeous, but they're just really finicky. Same thing with those Hydra Helix. And then this one right here, we've got Peperomia Raisinette. So I ended up getting a Peperomia Red Luna, which is a trending tropicals plant from Costa Farms, but this one is the Raisinette, which is way more purple. That's really nice. I believe that one was what, $13.99. I might end up getting that at Kroger. I've been looking at that Peperomia, and Peperomia are pretty easy, but wow, do you see what I see? Dieffenbachia Cool Beauty. Like today is my lucky day. I am literally finding some pretty cool variegated plants. We'll go take a look at that, but we'll look at this Croton Petra just to calm down for a second. That one's for $9.99. But I overheard that, I've read somewhere, people have told me that Costa Farms is releasing some new Dieffenbachia as trending tropicals, and this is it. Dieffenbachia Cool Beauty. Do you see that? Like, I always talk about how Dieffenbachia are challenging to grow indoors, but you know what? I'm going to make an exception, not even flinch. I told myself I wasn't going to buy any plants, but for $16.99 for a variegated Dieffenbachia, yeah, this is going home with me. There's 2 of them, so we're going to take a look at which one I might end up getting. Plant foldies, would you buy the one at the top or the one I just put down? Leave it in the comments or in the live premiere chats, but what a gorgeous looking Dieffenbachia. Now the Dieffenbachia Cool Beauty, I've actually seen 2 to 3 years ago being offered for several hundreds of dollars, and now it is a Costa Farms trending tropical plant. That's very exciting. This particular Dieffenbachia was actually discovered in Japan. It was a mutation from a Dieffenbachia, and I just love that. With Dieffenbachia, you just need to make sure that you are providing a lot of bright and direct light. They are very susceptible to spider mites as well. And basically light and just pest prevention, you will be able to grow it. I'm going to try to grow a Dieffenbachia. And then right over here, here's another Dieffenbachia. I've seen this one time at a local plant nursery called The Great Outdoors in Austin, Texas. But this one is a large Dieffenbachia crocodile. What interesting tone. Like, I actually would have bought this as well, but I didn't want to spend $16.99 each for these plants. Like, I feel like if I had to prioritize, I would definitely get the variegated plant and maybe come back for that. See, that's the thing about, different types of genuses of plants. Like, you want to collect them all. Like, I remember buying one peperomia and then I started adding more peperomia. So I don't want to start the Dieffenbachia craze just because, there's one that I didn't really see. But plant foliage, would you agree with me? I would definitely buy that Dieffenbachia Cool Beauty. It's absolutely stunning. And in here we have a Croton Gold Dust. This one's for $6.99. This one is a Costa Farms plant in a ceramic planter. I do like the matte finish on the ceramic planter. And with Crotons, I actually repotted one of my Crotons, my Magnificent Croton, and I am growing it in full sun, hoping that I will get some really good coloration from the plant. And then here is another Hedera Helix. This Hedera Helix English Ivy is in a 6-inch planter. This one's for $19.99, and this one is also from Mason Farms. So you can see that Kroger has a bunch of cool plants, some common plants, but needless to say, they're very healthy looking. Like, what a gorgeous looking Epipremnum aureum. Enjoy, but they're calling it Pearls and Jay, but I really think it's Enjoy. You make the decision. I think this is an Enjoy and it's mislabeled, but I'm going to go ahead and label this Pearls and Jay based on the plant ID on that particular plant. And I'm just going to go back and point out some more plants. What a nice looking Schefflera over there, an umbrella plant. They've got another Ficus lyrata. A lot of these plants are starting at $9.99. Really good pricing for a lot of these plants. And you can see right over here, they've got a lot of Hedera Helix. There are a bunch of English Ivy today. I don't know why there's a bunch of English Ivy. And this is a really red Fittonia. What a nice looking Fittonia. This one's for $9.99. I do like that. And then the edges have like a black margin around it. I really don't see Fittonia like that. That's another plant I would potentially add to my collection. And then this is a really cool plant. And I know for those who've seen this before, this is a pickle plant for $9.99. What a cool looking plant. And look at how fuzzy it is. They do look like miniature pickles. Plant foldies, I've seen this before. I know you guys liked it, so I'm glad I was able to find that plant. It seems to be more of an uncommon plant I don't typically see just being offered, so that's really cool. And then you can see what a gorgeous looking azalea, indoor azalea. And we've got this interesting Aglonema from Costa Farms in a self-watering planter. This one's for $14.99. This is another variety of Aglonema that I don't have, so I'm definitely gonna have to come back to this Kroger and purchase it. They've got 2 of them. They might even reduce this one because this one has some damage on its leaves, and I don't mind it. I'll just chop up the damaged leaves, but we'll see if Kroger will actually reduce that. This is another Aglonema I would purchase just because it's definitely a newer version. I'm glad that Costa Farms is releasing Aglonemas. If you haven't gotten an Aglonema in your houseplant collection and you have been watching my videos, I would ask why, because Aglonemas are amazing. They're super easy to take care of. And you can see here, we've got a lot of flowering plants, lots of Phalaenopsis orchids, lots of gorgeous Azalea Simpsonii. So I did learn my lesson in terms of making sure you never, ever, ever let the flowers, or not the flowers, but the soil dry. Otherwise, the azalea will really decline in health. I'm thinking that I probably needed to repot these plants in a bigger, pot with some more soil, not fast draining, just because, me being an underwaterer, it just didn't work out for me. I was really disappointed that I lost one of my indoor azaleas. I still have 2 left. My variegated one is actually growing outdoors in the patio. and I'm hoping that it will bounce back once I've been a little bit more consistent with the watering. But I did want to walk over here. Kroger is always such a good place to find plants. I think that this is really cool. We definitely need to know what this aglaonema plant ID is. $14.99 is not bad, but you know, for the most part, it just reminds me that I need to go to grocery stores again and check out some of these plants. I consider grocery stores big box stores as well. And you can see there are plenty of plants available. It may not seem like much, but a lot of the plants are plants that I would add to my collection. So plant foldies, if you haven't already, please hit the like button for this video and leave comments at the end. I am going to be ending this video fairly soon. This is Richie at Grow Folds. Please subscribe, and I definitely hope you guys will catch me tomorrow. I have another live premiere chat video available, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be local nursery plant shopping at Callaway's Nursery off of Custer Road on Highway 121 in Plano, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting that like button and following me on Instagram at GrowFolds. I would also invite you guys to subscribe to my channel with the notification bell on, just so you can visit me and join me on my 1-hour plant shopping videos that I do daily. Hopefully we can get some more engagement and subscribers from all of my videos. I know you guys are ready to go see some more haunted ghosts. But for now, I wanted to go out in broad daylight to show you guys the beautiful Callaway's Nursery. So Callaway's Nursery is actually a chain of nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is where I'm based at. And this is one of my favorite nurseries to go visit. For those that have regularly watched my videos, I feature this nursery quite often, but I can never get tired of going into this nursery because it is a large plant nursery out in Dallas. And you can see here, they've got some massive plants here. They've already got some huge plants available. And obviously, I always like to look at these water fixtures here. I've been thinking about adding that to my back patio. And you can see here, I'm going to pan over here and look at all of these fountains. The thing I like about Callaway's Nursery is they feature so many different plants. So if you're into like aeroids, indoor, outdoor house plants, common plants for the indoors, all of the above, they come in so many different shapes, sizes, colors, prices at Callaway's Nursery. And if you're into like Japanese maples, outdoor landscaping, outdoor gardens, they also have that. They also have herbs. They got a lot of annuals and perennials. They've got a lot of different types of plants at Callaway's. And you know you are a plant foldie. And for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. You know that I always talk about Aglaonema red siams. Aglaonema red siam is an easy to care for plant, and this plant here I would mistaken as an Aglaonema silver bay, but apparently it's an Aglaonema emerald bay. Not really sure what the difference is with the Aglaonema silver bay and emerald bay is. What I do know is that this one is only for $49.99 in a 3-gallon planter or a 10-inch planter. Not a bad price at all, considering that this Aglaonema is already large. It's absolutely stunning. And with Aglaonemas, one of the easiest plants to take care of. They can tolerate lower light conditions, and they don't need a lot of watering. So that's always a good thing. And what I would also tell you is Monstera deliciosa. So we've always been looking at, or actually the it plant, or what's sought after, is like variegated Monstera albo, or maybe the Monstera Thai constellation. But this one is only for $39.99, and you can already see that it is a very nice size plant. The fenestrations are there, and that's the thing I like about Callaway's Nursery is there's always large plants at very cost-effective prices. I always talk about whenever you go plant shopping, just comparing the different types of pricing. They have sometimes big box stores are cheaper, but sometimes local plant nurseries like Callaway are cheaper as well. Like this one right here is a philodendron imperial red for $29.99. You would mistaken that as a philodendron black cardinal. What a beautiful looking philodendron. This one doesn't necessarily have to like trail up a totem pole or moss pole. It's more of a bushy compact type of growth pattern. And then this one right over here is a philodendron xanadu. Beautiful looking philodendron. This one is only for $24.99, and you get all of this plant here. So that's the thing I love about Callaway's nursery. They source out so many large plants for very cost-effective pricing. So if you are a local plant foldie or somebody that lives out in the North Dallas, Fort Worth area, there are so many different Callaways to visit, but the one off of 121, Highway 121 and Custer Road is one of the best ones to go to. It's one of the largest ones. And here is another bromeliad. What a beautiful looking bromeliad. Look at how high variegation it is. It's pretty much all variegated, and you can see that the striping is really nice. This one is only for $19.99. That's not a bad price at all. I did land a very good price for a bromeliad out in Kroger's. Kroger is a grocery store out here. There's several grocery stores all over the country, and they have been recently haunted with a specific type of ghost, and I do want you guys to stay at the very end to see these ghosts. I know that I have premiered that particular ghost in a previous video, but you will not believe what other type of ghosts I was able to find at a Kroger nursery. So please make sure that you're staying tuned to the very end of this video. And you can see here one of my favorite chifleras. This one is only for $29.99. Now I was able to buy one that was similar in this size at a Home Depot out in Huntsville, Texas, of all places. It's a small town north of Houston, and I was able to get it for $9.99. Now this particular highly variegated chiflera, I was able to, I'm actually currently, let me correct myself, currently growing this out in full sun, south facing, and it is doing very well. You know, growing this particular chiflera outdoors has done very well for me. I thought that with its high variegation that it would burn, but it is actually really thriving and pushing out a lot of new growth. This particular chiflera can get up to 3 feet in height and width, so I'm really excited about that. But I want to pan over here and just show you all of these beautiful plants. Look at how large this is. And I do love shopping at this Callaway's because there are quite a bit of people that shop here, but I tend to go at times where there's not as much high traffic, so I can pretty much avoid filming people in my plant videos. I have been doing plant videos for close to 5 months now, and it's just really exciting to be able to film plants for you. And you can see here Dieffenbachia Sublime, or what you would call a Dieffenbachia Sparkle according to Costa Farms. Let's check out the price and see how much it costs. This one is for $39.99. That is not a bad price at all. Look at how large this Dieffenbachia is. Look at how beautiful the variegation is. It's got a very minty variegation. The problem with Dieffenbachia is it is not an easy plant to take care of. I repeat, some people get like sucked into buying that particular plant, but the thing about it is it does require a lot of high light conditions. You need to make sure that you're consistent with the watering, and just the light requirements a Dieffenbachia needs is what makes it really challenging. And then over here, you can see another beautiful Monstera deliciosa. You can see that this is fenestrated. It's got a large leaf, and I love Monstera deliciosa. You know, we've been looking at a lot of variegated Monstera. So there's a lot of different types of Monstera, variegated Monsteras out in the market. But you know, the original green fort, the OG, is still, a very classic, very easy to care for plant. The only thing I would say is if you're going to get a Monstera deliciosa, make sure that you have the space for it because it will get very large in no time. Here is a massive philodendron green Congo. Beautiful philodendron green Congo, and I'm actually curious to see how much the price is because this is massive here. I would say it's about 3 feet in width, and the height is about 3 feet as well, so it's a massive plant. I'm going to spin it around and see what the pricing is. Again, Callaway's is another local plant nursery that I would say is a good alternative to big box store plant shopping because you get a lot of varieties of plants. This one is not a bad price at all. That is only for $39.99. That is not a bad price considering look at how large of a plant you would get. Now with philodendron green Congo, it does require bright indirect light for it to really thrive. And then over here we've just got a typical chiflera plant. I do like chifleras or umbrella plants. I do prefer the variegated versions. Chiflera plants, their care tips would be, again, bright indirect light. That's what they would prefer, although they can tolerate a little bit lower light conditions if needed. It would just be slower in its growth. And as I pan over here, look at all of the plants here. This is a massive nursery. And again, I am just very fortunate to be able to plant shop at the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's several plants, and you can see right here, we've got a beautiful Schefflera. Now, I believe this is a little bit pricey though. This is for $89.99, $89.99. So I think that's a little bit pricey for a large Schefflera plant, especially since it's not variegated. You know, some people would want this. This isn't a 14-inch diameter planter, so it is a massive plant. I just don't know if I would pay close to $90 for that. And then here is a forest full of Dieffenbachia. Let me tell you about Dieffenbachia. If you are an indoor houseplant collector that's starting to grow indoor plants, buy yourself a Dieffenbachia. So whenever you go to a big box store, you'll see like these small Dieffenbachias in 3.5-inch planters. Look at the potential of how large they will get in a couple of years. So that's just an easy plant to take care of. And then over here is Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue. Proud Filipino here. My family is from the Philippines, and Epipremnum pinnatum are pretty much considered weeds in the Philippines. They are very endemic to the Philippines, and the Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue actually is endemic into the islands of Cebu, Philippines, actually. And it's really interesting that they have these growing up a totem pole. Notice how large the leaves are. That is really the natural way of an Epipremnum pinnatum, and you can see as it comes up a pole, the leaves get larger and they start to fenestrate. This one is for $169.99. A little bit pricey, but you know, that is totally understandable considering this is a semi-mature form of an Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue. And then over here is a proven winners, Dieffenbachia. Look at that beautiful variegation and coloration on this particular Dieffenbachia. You know, proven winners is a great place, you know, a great plant source to get some really good plants. I always think that proven winners has some amazing hybrids. They've got some high quality, healthy plants, and I like it. You know, with Dieffenbachia, again though, please make sure you are giving it a lot of bright indirect light. If you don't give it enough lighting, you know, bright indirect lighting conditions, your plant will get very leggy and suffer. And then over here we've got more plants that we're looking at, so I'm just, you know, focusing on all of the large plants. So this is a particular ficus plant. This one is a ficus Ali, I believe. Look at the leaves on this one. This one has some very narrow leaves. It is in the tree form, so that's the really cool thing about ficus. One thing to note about ficus, and I've mentioned this in a lot of my videos, is if you're going to grow any type of ficus, like even this one, this is a variegated ficus benjamina in a braided tree form, you need to make sure that you are giving this a lot of light, a lot of bright indirect light. You know, you talk about like ficus laurata, ficus benjamina, ficus elastica, all of the ficus. If you don't have that bright lighting condition, sometimes I just grow my ficus plants out in full sun in outdoors, and they just do fine. They just need a lot of light because for some reason that's what they really require. You do not want to try to grow one of these plants, especially this tree form right here, ficus benjamina, in lower light conditions. So if you have to get like a grow bulb to actually, you know, grow lights to actually give that lighting, please do. And this one right here is for $99. Look at how established and fused the braided ficus benjamina is. You can see that the trunk has braided up. I think that's a really good structure. Really like that a lot. Love the variegation. I just know for my household, while I have a lot of bright indirect light, natural light, I reserve that for other plants. So that's the thing when you go plant shopping or when you start to collect plants. Consider your space in your home. Do you have enough lighting conditions? Do you know the plant care tips? Do you know how much time you have to invest in plants? So that's just a couple of my tips. I always mention that. And this is actually a beautiful Ming Aurelia. This is a large one. So typically you'll see Ming Aurelias in 3.5-inch planters at a big box store, but you can see the full potential of that. And that's the reason why I like to go to Callaway's Nursery. I know that I've been featuring a lot of these Callaway's nurseries in pretty much every video all this week, but I am really proud and happy and just I love the fact that I can go to a Callaway's nursery that is literally within a 10 to 15 minute radius from where I'm based at, and see this. These are plants that you would see in a big box store. And while big box stores will offer maybe more cost-effective pricing, maybe cheaper pricing, I will say Callaway's has high quality plants in different sizes and shapes, colors, that you name it, and they have really good customer service. If you ever are going to visit the Dallas-Fort Worth area, please make sure you look into a Callaway's nursery. Now, Callaway's nursery is what I would call a local chain of plant nursery. So it's almost like a nursery, a big box nursery store, but like, you know, obviously it's not a big box store. But you can see here, I just panned over a bunch of this Ficus lyrata here. I do love fiddle fig leaf. Mine is actually doing very well. And that's the thing. I was able to find a fiddle fig leaf in a 6-inch starter planter for 99 cents. Like, you really can't beat that. And that's the thing that I love. And that's the reason why I make these plant shopping videos. I may not be the most versed or most expert when it comes to plants. I just love talking about them. So, you know, for those that have followed me for a couple of months now, and for those that are, you know, recently joining me, I will say thank you for always tuning into my live premiere chats. I typically try to schedule my live premieres at 7 p.m. just because I want to bring a community of people. It doesn't matter what age, ethnicity, country you're from, wherever you are. If you love plants, you are welcome to Grow Folds. I welcome you to be a plant foldie. It's just amazing, and I'm just really happy to share these plants for you. And you can see here, this is another type of calathea. See, I'm not an expert with calatheas, but what I will tell you is for $29.99, you will get a 10-inch planter full of this calathea. It looks beautiful now, but these velvety texture calatheas are quite challenging to grow. Now, what's interesting is here is a large leaf form of a China doll plant. At first, I didn't think this was a China doll plant, but then I double checked it, and this one is a China doll plant. But look at how large the leaves are. I do like China doll plant. I was able to buy an Exotic Angels Costa Farms China doll plant from HEB, which is another Texas exclusive grocery store. You can only find them in Texas because it's a Texas type of grocery store that also sells plants. But they have some really cheap plants to buy there. But you can see here, this was the traditional type of China doll plant that I'm used to seeing. Look at how the leaves are smaller. I love that the leaves feel very thin, but also I feel like this is a plant that could be a vigorous grower. The one thing I quickly learned, when I say quickly, if you don't actually water this plant or keep this plant soil moist, it will quickly decline in its health. Some of the leaves would start to brown and crisp up. And so this plant is not necessarily the best plant for me because I have such a busy schedule. So a little bit about me. I have I'm a salaried manager, and I typically work about 10 hours a day. And you know, when you think about filming YouTube videos, at least an hour each day, taking about 4 hours to edit, and then having a full-time job, it is a little bit challenging. And then on top of that, when you have like 50, 60 plus plants indoors and then a full household of plants outdoors, it is a little bit challenging to maintain plants, especially when it comes to watering. And that's the thing I will say about watering your plants. You have to really know your schedule. I will say that I have really hurt some of my syngoniums. I've been a very bad plant parent because I've gotten so busy that I wasn't able to like water my syngoniums for like 2.5, 3 weeks. And they're not like pothos plants or sansevieria plants are a little bit more forgiving when you don't water them, and they quickly declined in health. So that's the only thing about plant shopping and plant videos and just taking care of plants. Just know that you have to have enough time to really invest in them. The plant we're looking at right over here is a Ficus elastica shivriana, beautiful looking one from Proven Winners. And then this one is another Ficus elastica by Proven Winners. This one is the Chloe version. I really like the Chloe version because it reminds me of a Ficus elastica burgundy, but the difference is the leaf shape. It's a lot rounder. And then over here is one of my favorite Ficus elastica, and this one is for $24.99 by Proven Winners. This is the Ficus elastica ruby. Now with Ficus elastica ruby, you see how it's got that reddish tone about it. You have to give it a lot of light. Full sun would be even ideal in order for it to keep its beautiful coloration. And that's the thing I like about Callaways as well, is they merchandise all of their plants to similar care tips. This one is another Ficus benjamina here by Proven Winners. Ficus benjamina, it is one of those ficus that would be considered an indoor tree. The problem is if you don't give it enough bright indirect light, again, it will quickly drop its leaves. So it will definitely tell you when it's not happy. And then over here we got a Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. Care tips for that: if you get one of these, you definitely don't want to move that ficus around. Like, find a bright spot in your home, leave it there, make sure you stay consistent with the watering. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure that you don't like not water it for like 2 weeks and then all of a sudden like chug it with water and then not water it for 3 weeks, if that makes any sense. Ficus in general like to be consistent with where they are placed, the lighting conditions, and also the watering. And then over here, I just picked up this plant. I've never actually seen this plant. This is the first time I've ever seen one in real life. This one's a beautiful looking plant. It looks like a ficus, but I love the shiny, natural shine on the leaves. Beautiful looking plant as well. And then you can see here, this is a classic Ficus elastica or ruby, a rubber tree plant. This one is the Taniki in a 6-inch planter for $19.99. This one has some really good variegation. And the thing about this is I actually have grown a Ficus elastica Taniki outdoors in full sun in the summertime, where in North Dallas, we get 100-degree weather. And look at this beautiful philodendron burley marks, variegated burley marks. This one is for $99. It is still a bit pricey, but I would say it's less pricey as compared to maybe 3 to 4 years ago, when this, a single one leaf, one node cutting would cost you about $100. This is a plant that this one actually has some really good variegation. The only problem is this is one of these variegated plants that can easily revert to you. Even if you give it like good, bright, indirect light, it's still a finicky plant when it comes to variegation. I would say Burley Marks is not a stable variegated plant. That's just my opinion. I've seen it happen where it's just reverted. Now, this is a stable variegated plant. This is for $29.99. This is a Ficus triangularis braided form. Really like that a lot. I didn't realize that ficus plants could really be fused together to make a thicker trunk. You can see here, these actually lend itself to be more of a bonsai type of plant. I bought one of these and actually wired it up, potted it up in a bonsai pot, and it is doing very well for me. It will be interesting to see if I can keep it alive. Now with Ficus elastica triangularis, it is a finicky plant in a couple of ways. It does require a lot of bright light. The watering conditions, you need to make sure that you're staying consistent. It does prefer a lot higher humidity, and it's just a finicky plant. If you're gonna go grow one of these, find a spot that gets all of those environmental requirements, and it should do fine for you. They don't like to be moved around a lot. And then as I pan over here, we've got some more Ficus elastica, or not Ficus elastica, more ficus plants. Look at the interesting growth form on this, and I actually like the leaves. Now this one is a little bit pricey. This one is for $59.99. This is by Proven Winners right over here, and you can see that it's got some very narrow leaves. That's a beautiful looking plant. I would assume that it would be an easy to propagate plant as well. And then right over here, we've got a Ficus Audrey. I love the velvety texture of the leaves of a Ficus Audrey. And this one is called Ficus Roy. And then that one is also for $29.99. So it's a little bit of a pricey ficus. I was able to buy one from Walmart about 2 years ago, I believe. Same size, but only for $5. And then, over the years, it's grown very large. It's become a tree. I have really neglected it, however. And so now it's outside in my back patio, and I eventually want to repot that as well. This one is a Ficus Celebrate. So that's a Macropi Smile. But look at this. I love the shape of the leaves. So this isn't an uncommon type of ficus plant. So I didn't realize that there was more to ficus plants besides like Ficus benjamina, Ficus elastica, Ficus lyrata. There's so many other ficus, and you can see here what a gorgeous looking ficus plant. Love how the leaves are somewhat narrow, but the edges of it are very round. Very beautiful leaf shape. This is actually a beautiful looking plant. It would be very interesting to see how it looks if you were to leaf shine it. And then you can see right here we've got another ficus, elastica altissima. So this has got that green on green variegation. And then you can see the price right there. This one has actually been trained to be more of like a canopy tree form. So what they do is they actually, hack the top of the plant, and it actually encourages more shoots to grow up. And so if you prune your ficus elastica or your rubber tree plant, like if you just keep cutting it up, it will actually promote more branching to where it becomes more of a tree. So I always like that, and it comes to just how you train your trees and your plants indoors. Pruning really does help a lot. And then over here, I love cordyline plants. This one is a cordyline compacta for $16.99. This one doesn't get very large leaves. I do like the variegation. I like that subtle pink variegation. I would assume that this plant also would have better coloration with more light. I am currently growing my cordyline Hawaiian tea plant in full sun, and it was one that I bought at Walmart. I saved a lot of money actually. It was only for $5.84. So that's, again, the thing. I love going to different plant shops. Well, I feel like I haven't been going through a lot of different plant shops. It's either like Home Depot, Lowe's, or Kroger for grocery stores, or Callaway. So I'm going to try to go to some more local plant nurseries. But you can see right here, this is an Epiprimnum pinnatum neon. In the Philippines, we call this tibatib. And this one is on a totem for $169.99. This one is an Epiprimnum aureum golden pothos on a totem. And notice how the leaves got a little bit larger. And we're going to pan over here and look at some more plants. Over here, we're going to be delving into some more aglaonemas here. You already know I love aglaonemas. And for those that don't know what aglaonema are, they are also called Chinese evergreens. They come in so many different varieties. Like right over here, we've got another aglaonema, Lady Madonna. What a gorgeous looking aglaonema. I love the white stems on that aglaonema. And right next to it is a massive Monstera Thai constellation. This one is for $499. This is actually a fairly large Monstera Thai constellation with good variegation. Leaves are large. They're starting to really be fenestrated. And yes, this is only for $499. Not a bad price at all. I would say 3 to 4 years ago, this would be in like $1,500 range, maybe $2,000 range, or even more. It's just amazing that Monstera Thai constellation has now become, I would say, a very easy to find plant. You can go to like a local plant nursery. They have those available. And I will say pricing for this beautiful aeroid, it has really plummeted. Now, Callaway's does sell them for a little bit more on the pricier side when it comes to their 6-inch planters, but for $499 for that type of size is not a bad price at all. And then you can see here, this is another Dieffenbachia Sublime, or some people call it Sparkle. Beautiful looking, ghostly looking Dieffenbachia. Again, Dieffenbachia, I cannot repeat myself more than stress that it's just one of those plants that needs a lot of light. This one is a Philodendron Hope for $16.99. I would say in general, most philodendron will require more bright indirect light. If you can provide them with better humidity, that's a plus as well, but not necessary for most varieties. This one is an Aglaonema BJ Friedman. Beautiful Aglaonema. This Aglaonema can get very large. It can get really large leaves. I really like the minty variegation of this particular Aglaonema. I love the fact that Aglaonemas can tolerate lower light conditions. You want to make sure that their soil soil dries out completely before watering them. They prefer to be more on the drier side, to be honest, because I've noticed that even keeping their soil wet can potentially make them unhealthy and can cause root rot. Over here for $16.99 in a 6-inch planter is a juvenile form of a Monstera deliciosa. So just a green form of a Monstera. That's a really cute looking seedling. It looks like these are all from seeds. This one is also for $16.99. I really like the look of a juvenile form Monstera deliciosa. I love how the leaves are just more of a heart shape. Honestly, I wish that there was a plant that could just remain that heart-shaped look besides like a philodendron heteroraceum, but this one right here is for $9.99 in a 4-inch planter. This one is another Monstera deliciosa juvenile form. What I like about it is for $9.99, most of these plants, there is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seedlings here. So you can separate this and get 5 different Monstera not Thai constellations. That would be awesome for $9.99. No, Monstera deliciosas. You can get 5 of those little seedlings for just $9.99. That is not a bad price at all. Again, Monstera deliciosas will get large eventually. Give it about a year or 2 and you'll have a massive plant. And then over here we've got some aglaonemas, and then this is a beautiful Phalaenopsis orchid. You can't go to a Grow Folds video without seeing a aglaonema and a Phalaenopsis orchid. I try my very best to really showcase plants that I am more drawn to. I have made a conscious effort to show other plants that I may not necessarily be interested in. I really want to diversify the types of plants that I show on my plant channel. So I've started to show like more succulents and outdoor gardening plants, especially since it is spring. That is like the peak time to be growing things outdoors. But my main love for this channel is obviously these aeroids, or these indoor tropical plants. Like look at this beautiful variegated burley marks, philodendron burley marks. Beautiful looking variegation here. I will say that this plant doesn't necessarily have the most stable variegation. You do want to give it a lot of bright light. I don't know if necessarily a bright light really influences the amount of variegation, but I will say that it will prevent it from reverting. It's still one of those plants that may revert to you in green. What I would suggest is if you notice that there's a lot of like green foliage growing and no variegation, I would cut the plant back to like maybe shock it into growing some more variegated leaves. But this is still a bit of a pricey plant for me for $99. I would love to have this size of a philodendron, variegated philodendron burley marks. It is a beautiful plant. I've had this in the past. I think I have like 2 more like survivors in propagation right now. And then over here, we've got some more Monstera Thai constellations. This is in a 6-inch planter for $89.99. I do think that if you're looking for a Monstera Thai constellation at this size, I know that Walmart has been releasing those in larger planters for a little bit less. So it really just depends. If you really want to get a beautiful Monstera Thai constellation, number one, I would say look at the variegation, because not every single Monstera Thai constellation is as variegated, and that's a really cool looking leaf. It just has that one hole on it, but you might be able to find more variegated Monstera Thai constellations. There are different varieties. They have like a Monstera Thai constellation creme brulee, which is really variegated, but I always think that plants that have too much variegation are more of like a liability. What I mean by liability is their leaves are hard to keep healthy because they tend to crisp up and they're a slower growing plant. Like this one right here, I do want to eventually get is a philodendron summer glory. I love the satin shine on the leaves. It's absolutely stunning. And this one is only for $19.99. I honestly should have bought this particular philodendron, but for me, I have realized that I have a bad plant obsession. And what I mean by that is like I have been just buying plants left and right. It doesn't help that I do these plant shopping videos, and I always tell myself every time I go to like Callaway's or a big box store like Walmart, Lowe's, or Home Depot that I'm just gonna film plants, and then all of a sudden I'll have like a plant find or a plant that just really speaks to me. So plant foldies or anybody watching this video, please leave in the comments if you have that same boat where you definitely have like a plant obsession, a plant addiction, and you can't help yourself but buy plants, knowing that you may not necessarily have all of the care conditions that the plant requires. I really love hearing from you guys. Engagement is very important to me. You know, send me a message on Instagram, leave comments on my YouTube channel. And if you are watching this in the live premiere chat, don't be shy to say hello. We have a very kind and positive plant community on Growfold, and we always love to see new faces. And I did, you know, want to show you all of those beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids. So the smaller ones are for $14.99. I have a variegated leaf on one of my Phalaenopsis orchids that I found at a grocery store called Kroger for $9.99. So again, what's exciting about plant shopping and in just doing plant shopping videos, even for you guys, is whenever I find plants, I'm able to direct people to, you know, different types of stores to be able to find maybe some wish list plants or plants that are going to save you some money. I'm all about trying to save people money and giving you guys the best pricing. Now, these are some beautiful Rex begonias for $16.99. They are larger in size, so if you ever go to a big box stores, Costa Farms typically has, you know, exotic angel Rex begonias for like $5.89, sometimes $4.97 at Walmart. And I do like Rex begonias because they have so much like coloration. The Rex begonias are a little bit challenging of a plant though. For a newbie, I would say I wouldn't start out with a Rex begonia because they do like humidity. They do like their soil to dry out completely, and then you can bottom water them. I would definitely not get their leaves wet and definitely not get their stems wet because it will rot away if you do that. So just, you know, something to learn about like Rex begonias, you want to bottom water them. And what that means is you're going to take a saucer, fill it up with water, and then stick the planter in it to let it soak up the water, versus like watering the top where there is a potential of getting the leaves wet. You really don't want to get the leaves wet on Rex begonias because they will rot away. And I've seen it happen in my experience. Now for my Hoya heads or Hoya lovers, check this out. Look at these Hoya publicaics, and you see how their vines have like twisted, and now they have become like friends. All three of them have just kind of twisted itself. That is really interesting. I don't know so much about Hoya, but what I do know about Hoya is they have some beautiful blooms. Their blooms are very fragrant, and I love the speckling of this Hoya publicaics. What a gorgeous looking Hoya. And this is just really interesting that they have kind of shot up some vines and they've twisted around, and now they're all stuck together. That's very interesting. It'd be interesting to see if somebody wanted to buy these plants, like what that would look like in terms of untangling them. And they are in a beautiful trellis. I have two Hoya so far. I've got a Hoya carnosa Crimson Queen and a Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess. Both are hanging baskets from Costa Farms that I bought at Walmart for $20.84. It's a really good price because I have noticed that Hoyas can be a little bit pricey. This one in a 6-inch planter is for $29.99. This is a Hoya Wyetii or a Hoya Kiantiana. It's beautiful, and you can see that the leaves are a little bit pink, which means that this Hoya has gotten a lot of light and has become a little bit more sun stressed. It is nice to get your Hoyas to be sun stressed, so feel free to be more just to flood them with a lot of light is what I'm trying to say. If you flood them with a lot of light, even direct sun, they will be sun stressed, which means they will give you better variegation and coloration. Like, look at that. And then this is a gorgeous looking Hoya by Proven Winners. Really nice looking one. This one is a Hoya Pot of Gold for $24.99 in a 5-inch planter. Really nice looking Hoya. And what I've noticed about Hoya is you would think that a waxy type plant would be actually a slower grower, but it's actually done very well for me in terms of just pushing out new growth. They do well in terms of propagation. You can propagate them in water and they will root. I am in the hunt for a Hoya Chelsea. I saw a couple of Hoya Chelsea, for instance, at Walmart, but I just didn't buy it at the time. And then when I came back to look for it, it was gone. And over here, we've got some Hoya Carnosa Crimson Queen, I believe. Crimson Queen is basically the white edging is actually on the borders of the leaf. And you can see we've got just a green Hoya carnosa. I don't know a lot about Hoyas, so just bear with me, but I am attempting to try to get you guys more Hoya content. And then here is a beautiful hanging basket again of Hoya Wyetii, or some people call it Hoya Quintiana. Beautiful looking Hoya. This is for $39.99 in a hanging basket. You can see that it's slightly sun stressed because it's even got leaves that are almost black. Really nice looking Hoya. I would love to see a Hoya in bloom. I was able to see some at PlantCon 2024 in Houston not too long ago. And for those that haven't gotten a chance to watch my PlantCon 2024 video, please check it out in my channel. I have playlists with a lot of these plant shopping videos. That would be something that if you wanted to binge my plant shopping videos, I would love that. But as you can see right over here, I have just shown you guys a lot of these like proven winner Hoyas. This one is proven winner Hoya Sea Stones Hoya. These are for $9.99, and that's not actually a bad price at all for a starter Hoya. Some Hoyas are a lot more pricey, and you know, I'm actually thinking about getting some proven winner Hoyas. Like this one is really variegated, and this one also is for $9.99. These are the Hoya Sea Stones. Beautiful looking Hoya. Love the variegation and the coloration. I believe that you would get some pinks if you give it a lot of light. And then over here is for $19.99 a Hoya compacta. So for Kathy, who is one of my most loyal Plantfolies viewers, subscribers, I know you like some Hoya compactas. Here's some more Hoya compactas for you. I do think that the pricing for $19.99 is a little bit pricey. I've seen some of these Hoya compactas actually being sold in some Austin, Texas local nurseries there for a lot less. So that is another plant that I would like to get. The only thing is I'm a little bit weary about Hoya compacta because I've had mealy bug infestations before, and mealy bugs are tough to get rid of. I just think that they would be hiding in those crevices of a Hoya compacta. But you can see here for $9.99, which I believe is a plant saver if you're wanting to get a Hoya Wyetii by proven winners. That's not a bad price at all, especially if you want to start out with a smaller Hoya. Again, Hoyas are easy to propagate. They are, I would say, moderate growers. They're not necessarily vigorous growers, but they are not very, in my experience, they're not slow growers either. And then over here, we got a Peperomia Ginny for $6.99 in a 4-inch planter. Really like the simplicity of this particular Peperomia. It definitely gives me like succulent vibes because when you touch the leaves, they're a very waxy, thick texture about it. And then over here, we've got even more Peperomias by Costa Farms, proven winners. They've got the green form and also the variegated form. And then over here, we've got this beautiful looking hanging basket. I'm going to assume for $12.99 that this is some form of a Swedish ivy. I love my white edge Swedish ivy. It has grown very fast and it's easy to propagate as well. They kind of remind me of like coleus plants, honestly, where you can just take cuttings and it will root within like a week and a half to 2 weeks and you get more free plants. And that's the thing about plant shopping. Sometimes you can go plant shopping and pick up a beautiful plant like this. This is a Peperomia sweet and sour, where you can get a mother plant or you can get plants for free from other friends by like sharing like cuttings or, you know, propagations. That's what I'm really trying to do. So I've been propagating a bunch of like coleus cuttings in the hopes of getting them to root and sharing them with maybe some of my viewers and subscribers in the local DFW area, or maybe even selling them. So there's a lot to do with that, and that's part of the reason why I like to grow plants, not necessarily just for like the beautiful variegation. Like this one right here is actually interesting. So notice that this one has actual pink outlining as compared to the other Peperomia obtusifolia. So I don't know if this particular Peperomia actually sun stresses, but again, what I was getting back to is it's just nice to be able to grow plants and share plants with friends. This one is a Dracaena Janet Craig compacta for $16.99. one of the most easiest plants to grow. It is a moderate grower, so it's not a fast grower, but it's not a slow grower either. But this is a plant that you can literally put in a dark corner of your home and neglect it, and it will still grow. This is another form of that Dracaena Janet Craig compacta. Really like Dracaenas. I am guilty of not having enough Dracaenas in my plant collection. You know, I talk about Dracaenas being such an underrated plant, but I really hope I can influence you guys to get like Aglaonemas, Dracaenas in your plant collection, because I'm telling you, they are super easy. And then right over here for $39.99 is an Epipremnum pinnatum neon. This is another type of Epipremnum pinnatum. I know some people really like the Albo version and maybe the Indonesian mint version, but this version is really nice as well. Again, growing it up on like a moss pole or a totem pole will really give you some really large foliage leaves. And as I pan over here, look at all of these Boston ferns that they have. They've got that Monstera constellation and just several plants to look at over here. Right over here is a gorgeous looking mini lipstick plant here for $29.99. Look at that. They remind me of a Hoya. Really like this a lot. They look like goldfish plants as well. I like the natural shine on the leaves, as well as just the waxy texture of the leaves. I don't have any lipstick plants in my collection, so please let me know what the care tips are in the comments if you have one. And then here are some Cryptanthus. Beautiful looking plants here. Again, these remind me of like colorful Sansevieria plants. Obviously they're different plants, but look at that beautiful pink border. Really like that a lot. I don't know a lot about this particular plant as well. So, you know, again, I love learning from you guys that also love plants. So leave that in the comments if you have any care tips. And over here, we've got some more Phalaenopsis orchids. And I swear every time I see a Phalaenopsis orchid, there's just so many different colors and varieties. And over here, one of my favorite Tradescantias. This is a Tradescantia Nanook in a 4-inch planter for $9.99. I have one that's doing very well. I was able to cut it up and actually get more propagations. And we've got some polka dot plants here for $5.99 in a 4-inch planter. I steer away from polka dot plants because they just haven't done very well for me. Like if I overwater them, they crisp up. If I underwater them, if they crisp up. I haven't really, figured out what the lighting conditions are, and I've killed several of them. And it's one of those plants that I don't love enough to try to keep growing. Now, when it comes to a Hedera helix or an English ivy, that's a plant that I would continue to try and grow indoors. I just killed Hedera helix number 14, and it makes me sad, but it's one of those things where it's just the plant care and just the amount of time you have. You can't just pick up a beautiful plant like that bromeliad and expect to just let it grow without watering it and actually giving it care. Over here, we've got a foxtail cactus. This is a super cute looking cactus in a hanging basket. And so for those that love cactus and succulents, be prepared for me to feature even more cactus. I may do like a full shopping video where I just specifically feature a certain type of genus of plants. I know that you've asked for some like basic care tips for plants or plants that are good for beginners. So stay tuned for that episode. I did film that today, and I will be editing it and hopefully debuting it either on Sunday or Monday. But you can see here, more bromeliads. Happy to have one of my first bromeliads, although I love that one right here that we're looking at, that red and then the pink coloration of bromeliads. Again, I don't know too much about bromeliads, so I've got to do my own personal research to see if I can get my bromeliad to grow. It was more of an impulse buy because I got that bromeliad for $2.45. It was on a reduced clearance price at Kroger, which is a grocery store out in North Dallas. And that's the thing, I buy my plants not necessarily at all big box stores or even Callaway's, but I will say the majority of my plants I typically buy from Callaway's, just because I do trust that their plants are healthy. They've got a good return policy, that a diversity of plants. And I featured this video, this particular Callaway's nursery in several of my videos. So hopefully you guys haven't gotten tired of looking all of these plants, because they just have so many to look at. Like this is a bromeliad that I bought for $2.49. Obviously it's not this size, but this one is for $24.99. I'm just really interested to see the full potential of being able to grow this plant. I again don't know so much about bromeliads, but what I do know about bromeliads is they are absolutely stunning. They have different varieties of bromeliads. I would assume that they would also thrive in bright indirect light. I'm not really sure if they can tolerate lower light conditions. And then over here, I keep panning over this beautiful Monstera Thai constellation for $499. So if you are in the North Dallas area or want to travel for the Monstera Thai constellation, definitely check out the Callaways off of Custer Road, right next to Highway 121. You will see all of these beautiful plants. I highly recommend going to this nursery, honestly, because you'll find anthuriums like this for $59.99 in a crate basket. I really like that a lot. I don't have any anthuriums like this in my collection. I have blooming anthuriums, but when it comes to all of these beautiful vein type anthuriums, I don't have it. I did give one to my grandmother and she was able to let it thrive. I eventually would like to get that anthurium back from her just because she's a better plant grower than me. You know, a lot of my plant love, my plant knowledge is literally, from my grandmother. She's very near and dear to me. And I'm just glad that she is 89 years old, super healthy. She loves her plants, very alert. And I do believe that plants have a very good way of making people happy. It's really good for your mental health. Me making these plant videos and literally seeing plants like this beautiful Aglonema, Lady Madonna, really help with just my mood. I think that I'm a lot happier. I'm a lot calmer. I'm a lot more excited when it comes to just sharing, the plants that I'm finding in my videos, and then just being able to freely talk about plants with you guys. I know that I have really talked about the same plants daily, but it's fun to just really show these on film. Like this one right here is a rapist palm. Really like this palm, and what's really interesting about this particular palm is it gets very large, and the plus side is it doesn't necessarily need as much highlight as compared to a lot of the other palms. And then now we're gonna walk over to the fern section here. I have been debating on whether I should get a bird's nest fern. This one is for $24.99. What a gorgeous looking bird's nest fern. I am looking for one that is a hurricane version where it's spinning around, but this one is for $24.99, and you can see that there is a different type of variation in the leaf shape and even the texture. These bird's nest fern can get fairly large, so that's another reason why I have been a little bit more apprehensive about buying a bird's nest fern, just because while you may have, say, the care tips and the time to invest in the plant, we also want to look at the space you have in your home. Like, how much space do you have for a plant? So some people are quick to buy, say, a Monstera deliciosa in a juvenile form, but give it about 3 to 4 years and it's going to really take over a large chunk of your room. And that's the thing about my house. I've got a fairly large house. Super excited. I bought it when it was actually a really good price. Now housing prices have got really large, really expensive. I'm never going to sell my house. Well, I wouldn't say never, but it is a very comfortable house and I've been able to house a lot of my plants. But, I digress and say that now that I have learned a lot about just plants and the limits you have in terms of how many plants do you want to place in your house. I know that I have, OCD when it comes to just wanting to buy plants, those compulsions of I have to get everything. Now it becomes more of how much space do you have in your home? How much time do you really invest in your plants? And I keep repeating myself because I've actually interacted with several plant foldies and they're always asking me questions about they can't keep up with their plants. What do you do with it? I would say if a plant isn't giving you joy, either donate it to somebody or compost it. And that's the polite way of saying maybe just trash it. I really don't encourage that, but at the same time, downsizing your plant to really make room and time for the ones that you really want to take care of really will give you the best joy. I have rambled a little bit off topic, but as you can see here, these Phoetonias are from Proven Winners, and I do like these Phoetonias because they have their own different hybrid. Notice this Phoetonia. This is the Nightly Phoetonia by Leaf Joy Littles. Proven Winners. These are for $9.99. Really like this one because it's got smaller leaves for a Phoetonia, and then the other one, if you saw earlier, has a different color. It's not necessarily white. It's got more of like a neon green color, and I do like the look of this particular Phoetonia. I don't have Phoetonias, but what I will say about Phoetonias is they do require a little bit better humidity. So these are plants that would actually do well in more of a terrarium setting. I have clear lamps that I bought from Target that I have converted into a terrarium. So I may post that on my Instagram. So there's a lot of other content that I put out aside from my YouTube channel. I've been using Instagram, but plant foldies, I know I asked this in a previous live chat. Do you think I should create a Facebook page just for the plant foldies? Would that make it easier for people to share their plants, interact? Because I know that a lot of you guys really look forward to just chatting with each other at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time when I premiere my live videos. So let me know in the comments if you want me to make a Facebook account for grow folds. And then over here is the bird's nest fern that I am considering. This is the bird's nest fern hurricane. Notice how the leaves have kind of like spun around. They're crinkly. They've just got a different look about it and texture, and I really think that's super cool. Now that is for $19.99 at Callaway's Nursery. I haven't really seen them out in big box stores, and you can see here for $16.99 we've got a staghorn fern. I have yet to mount a staghorn fern on a wooden plank. I really want to do that. I want to put it on my wall. It would be another way of like saving space in terms of like maximizing your space for plants. So another way to maximize space for your plants is having a bunch of hanging baskets. Just make sure that you have the correct hook for that. I did find some hooks that can carry up to 30 pounds off of Amazon. It's more of like a command strip hook, and some people get nervous about that, but trust me, some of my Hoyas that I've been growing in a hanging basket are being hung by the command strips. And then over here, we've got some assorted alocasias. That is Alocasia Tiny Dancer. We've got some Alocasia low riders here for $14.99 in a 4-inch planter. Really like the stems of the leaves. They've got some texture and some color about it. And look at the leaves as well. It's amazing to see the different types of Alocasia. I would say about 3 to 4 years ago, I wouldn't think that there were so many varieties of Alocasia, but they do have several varieties. I do love Syngoniums. It's one of my favorite plants. I talk about that in all of my videos. This one's for $6.99. Syngoniums are easy, but the thing about Syngoniums is they're not really tolerant with lower light conditions, so bright indirect light. Otherwise, they will get very leggy. They're going to shoot out more runners than foliage if you give it lower light conditions. And the number one thing I learned about growing Syngoniums is if you let their soil dry out for a while, they're not as forgiving of a plant as you would think, because they would start to get susceptible to like spider mites. Their leaves fall off, and it's just not a good thing in terms of just letting and neglecting Syngoniums. Syngoniums are not as easy of a care plant when it comes to that. Obviously, if you're gonna neglect the plant and not water it, obviously it's gonna be more susceptible to pests, because plant pests attack plants that are not at their best health. And then over here, we've got a Calathea medallion, beautiful Calathea. Now with Calatheas, they are one of the most finicky plants, one of the more challenging indoor house plants. Now this one here is for $39.99 in a 10-inch diameter planter. Love that purple tone underneath its leaves, but Calatheas require higher humidity levels, consistent watering. So what I've done now is I've taken some of my Calatheas, got rid of the soil, like cleaned it out with a hose and just left it bare root, stuck it in a bowl full of water, and now I'm growing in them in what you call a hydroponic situation, where you're not using any type of substrate but water. It's done very well for me. I really think that growing certain plants in hydroponics, especially for somebody like me who does not water plants consistently, like I tend to not, and it's really bad, I'll tell you this, I will tend to not water plants for at least 2 to 3 weeks. I push the envelope on some of them, and that's the reason why I've done well with like growing plants like aglaonema that don't necessarily require a lot of water, or better yet, let's just phrase it and say that they're more forgiving. But plants like certain syngoniums, for instance, that need water, coleus plants that need water, those are the plants that I'm a little bit more worried about. And then over here, I love crotons. This is so interesting. This is a croton magnificent in a tree form. So notice how they've let it grow up. And look at the leaves. I love the blackness of all of the croton leaves. And this is a croton that I bought actually at Home Depot, a small one, for $9.99. And it has gotten so much growth just being outside in full sun. Now, here are some of these easy to care for plants, sansevieria or snake plants. What makes them easy is basically they are a lower light tolerant type plant. This one is for $16.99. I love the look of this one because this is the Sansevieria canary, so it's got a lot of yellow variegation to it. The only thing about these Sansevieria, these are Sansevieria trifasciatas, are if you overwater it, it definitely will rot. But if you also don't water it enough, it would get what you call dry rot. So it's a little bit more of a finicky plant than you think. Most people will market a Sansevieria as an easy to care for plant, and I do agree it is, but there is a little bit more care than you think. And over here, we're looking at a heart fern for $16.99. So this looks beautiful, but based on what you have told me, or a lot of my viewers and subscribers, the heart fern is actually a very challenging plant to grow. So I'm going to steer away from that as much as I like the look of it. And you can see this is a beautiful looking fern as well. This fern is a footed fern for $16.99. That is not a bad price at all, actually. And that's the thing. Certain plants are a little bit more pricey than others, but just because a plant is inexpensive, it doesn't make it any less of a plant. Right over here is a 6-inch planter of a bird's nest Sansevieria snake plant for $16.99. These are really cute as well. And what I like about these Sansevieria is they shoot up pups. And what I mean about they shoot up pups is that they have these little babies that pop out of the soil and you can actually separate them. I would say separation is the best way to propagate a Sansevieria or a snake plant. And then here's another favorite of mine. This is a Sansevieria La Rubia. Beautiful looking one as well. This one has some really good variegation. Look at how yellow it is. Really nice color to it. And then we have some large Raven ZZs and regular ZZ plants. These are the true easy to care for plant. They can tolerate being neglected. We are about to approach a beautiful philodendron hederaceum, just a green form here. This one is for $29.99. Look at that heart-shaped leaf on that it has, beautiful green. And that's the thing. I know we're always looking for variegated plants. I can sometimes say that I'm a variegation snoot. Like, I tend to like plants that are more variegated, but I also have a high appreciation when it comes to just green plants. And then I wanted to show you these bonsai pots. These are for $9.99. So that one is for $4.99, but these pots could actually make really good pots for like succulent type arrangements in addition to bonsai. I have bought a lot of my bonsai pots actually from Callaway's. They have a really good value for it. And I love the fact that they have all of these different types of planters. And then over here on a trellis is another Hoya. This is a Hoya publicaix. It's looking very healthy. Love the splash on its leaves. I can see why some people are really about the Hoyas. When I went to PlantCon 2024, saw a bunch of really cool looking Hoyas. I will say they are pricey. And so you're not going to be finding, these types of pricing for Hoyas like these Epipremnum aria, Marble Queen Pothos, for instance. This one is for $16.99 in a 6-inch planter. Beautiful variegation. Now with Marble Queen, it doesn't have the most stable variegation. You want to give it a lot of bright indirect light. Leave it near a window. The more bright indirect light you get it, the better off the coloration is going to be. That's the same thing with like a neon pothos right there. That is one of my favorite pothos. Actually, pothos plants are one of my favorites just because they're easy to care for. Alongside with the Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil. This one is for $16.99, and thank you to the Plant Foldy that let me know that, Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil, you can get lighter or higher variegation based on the amount of light you give it. You can see here, this one has got a little bit more green form as compared to the others. I was at another Callaway's and I noticed that it was like mostly yellow, but I think it's because of the lighting conditions you provide it. The more light you give a Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil, the more yellow or more variegation it's going to push out. So that's always an interesting tidbit, and that's the reason why it is so much fun to see you guys on the live premiere chats. I hope that we continue to keep that engagement. We are now at 9,200 subscribers. Thank you to all of the original Plant Foldies that continue to tune in my live premieres, but also for those that have recently joined our community. I welcome you guys. Everybody is welcome, and thank you. I'm also open for feedback. Please make sure you are leaving that in the comments politely. I'm all about positivity as well. The internet can become toxic. We don't want that in our environment. I want this to be a safe space for people to really enjoy plants and just to discuss them. And then over here, what I find is interesting, this is actually kind of pricey though. It's for $49.99. This is, this is actually for $29.99. That's an Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. The next hanging basket is a neon pothos. I thought it was the Epipremnum pinnatum neon. But that's not it. I'm looking at just the aureum version, so just the regular pothos. The neon pothos is beautiful. I have a nice looking hanging basket from Costa Farms, but this is the one for $49.99. This is an Epipremnum pinnatum variegated neon, $49.99. It is trailing. It is a vigorous grower just like the other Epipremnum aureum, but this one honestly has better look when you let it grow up a totem pole or moss pole as compared to a hanging basket. The leaves get smaller and smaller as it trails down. And you can see here we've got some Scindapsus. So these are actually labeled Scindapsus satin, but silver satin, but I really think they're exotica because the leaves are larger. And you can see here, this one's for $6.99 in a 4-inch planter. Really like that a lot. I've actually bought this particular, Philodendron Hederaceum because it is such a good price, and local plant nurseries like Callaway's will provide you with some really cost-effective pricing. I feel like you would save some money buying from Callaway's and encourage anybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to shop Callaway's. And you can see right here, this is a Midrium silver, medium, or a Midrium medium silver, however you want to say. Let's take a look at that. This is an Midrium medium silver for $39.99. Beautiful looking plant, but the only thing is, in order for it to have that beautiful fenestration in larger leaves, it has to grow up a pole. If it doesn't, it will actually not fenestrate and it'll have much smaller leaves. And then over here is a Philodendron Goldii for $19.99. This one kind of reminds me of a Syngonium. Just the trilobes are really nice. I do like that natural leaf shine as well. And that's an interesting thing about plants. Certain plants lend itself to having a natural shine to its leaves, while others are a little bit more matte or satiny. This one right here is a Philodendron Orange Marmalade. I'm actually interested in purchasing one of these Philodendron by Proven Winners. It's a beautiful yellow coloration. And this one for $19.99 is also a Philodendron Summer Glory. I would go with the other ones that they recently restocked. This one looks like an older one, and it's a smaller one. It's got smaller leaves. We've got some metallic leaves right over here for $24.99. This is a Philodendron Brantianum. Really like Philodendron Brantianum, but I think the best way to grow up Philodendron Brantianum would be to let it grow up a totem pole. If you go to Plant Keeper Incorporated, which is a local plant nursery out in Dallas, Texas, you will see what I mean. They have large plants with Philodendron Brantianum growing up a totem. And you can see here, these philodendron ring of fires are not nearly as variegated as the ones that we're seeing at big box stores like Walmart, offered by Growers Bench, but those are for $19.99. And as I pan over, look at all of the plants they have at Callaway's. And now we're going to be looking at the outdoor section, where we're going to see several flowering plants, annual plants, ground cover plants, and just plants in general. I wanted to just kind of walk through here and show you guys this. Look at this sea of wax begonias. Look at all of the beautiful blooms here. These are for $2.99. Several of these plants here, and I just love looking at all of the outdoor greenery, all of the flowers, and this is just beautiful. So with wax begonias, this one is for $6.99. What I like about wax begonias is obviously the blooms are beautiful, but they are a little bit more versatile when it comes to lighting conditions. So obviously, if you give it a lot of light, some of them can take full sun, like the wax begonia can take full sun. It will be more vigorous in its growth, but you can also grow them in shade, which also lends me to believe that you can grow them long-term indoors. So I'm going to try to see if I can grow those indoors, especially over the winter. And as I walk over here, I'm just going to walk over to coleus plants. I will say coleus plants are my favorite plants to grow at the moment. They are my current plant obsession, and the reason being is look at how beautiful the colors are on this. And these coleus, this coleus is only for $2.49 to get a starter. My grandmother was able to buy several coleus plants one year. With this size, she was able to get them large, able to propagate them, and then all of a sudden her whole back patio was full of large coleus plants. And because coleus plants are just very easy to propagate, like literally I could just nip a piece of this coleus plant right now, put it in water, and then like a week and a half later it will have roots. Or better yet, you can literally take cuttings of a coleus plant, stick it in soil, and you have propagated it. Like the success rate for them to actually root is a lot higher than most plants. I would say coleus plants even root easier as compared to even like golden pothos, and pothos plants are so easy to root in water. I am currently rooting tons of coleus plants because I was able to grow some out pretty large, and I cut it up, and I love the process of propagating. Propagating plants for me is the fun part of growing plants. That's one part of plant growing that really inspire me to keep growing plants. And you can see coleus plants here. These are the Kong coleus plants. So Kong coleus plants have very large leaves. I'm not sure if I really want to get Kong coleus plants. I prefer them to be a little bit smaller in the leaf shape. It is a beautiful looking Kong coleus plant. This one is for $12.99, and I am just really happy that Callaway's has so many different varieties of coleus. Like look at this one right here. Now this one is for $34.99, but obviously it's in a large planter. I wouldn't even need to buy a plant this large. Like literally, if I just had like one little cutting of this, I could grow it up in about 3 weeks to that size, because coleus plants are very vigorous growers. They're very fast growers. I recently bought this coleus right here. I like it because of the dark foliage, and then you can see that there's like pink veining there. Notice how some of the lower leaves are a little bit more green. So the coloration of certain coleus have better coloration if you're giving them bright indirect light. Some coleus plants can actually take a full sun, so that's what you call sun coleus. And you can see here, we've just passed by a bunch of ground cover. Now this is a beautiful Tradescantia. This is a Tradescantia velvet that I bought. I will start to chop it up and actually propagate it to make it more of a full plant. And this is what one of my favorite plants. This is a Swedish ivy. You can grow Swedish ivy indoors as well, and this is a very fast growing plant. You can actually take cuttings from these, and these easily root in water. And you can see they have the neon version of a Swedish ivy. This is better than a Hedera helix or an English ivy in a sense that it is a very fast grower. It's a very easy plant, not very finicky, and for the price of $2.49, that's not a bad starter plant at all. I bought a Swedish ivy that was called Swedish ivy white edge, and after a month it's really blown up. I only spent $3.99. So it's always nice to start out with plants that are starter plants. Some of us may want larger plants for that instant gratification, and I totally understand that. But if you are really into plants and you're into a budget, For me, I like to start plants from when they're small and then watch them grow. I think that's the beauty of actually getting a plant. So for instance, if you bought a Monstera Thai constellation in a small form, wait 2 to 3 years and you'll have a massive plant. And I want to show you this. This is another coleus plant that I recently bought as well. Look at how the leaves look. That yellow edging on the leaves is gorgeous. And then here is another coleus plant as well. This one can take full sun. I have this coleus plant as well. So as you notice, every single coleus plant that is being offered by Callaways except this one, I have yet to buy this coleus plant. I have pretty much purchased. Now I'm in the current state of propagating the ones I have because they've grown up so fast. This is a beautiful and interesting plant. This one actually reminds me of a ghost because this is it's just got that white leaf here, and if you touch it, it literally feels like leather. It's got a very soft, velvety touch about it. I don't know a lot about this plant, but it does have a beautiful look. I don't know if this can actually grow indoors. So plant foldies, leave in the comments the care tips for this particular plant. You know, we have been seeing a haunting. Kroger is actually haunted with ghosts. As you can already tell in the last video that I premiered about 2 days ago, we saw a bunch of ghosts. So please make sure that you are staying till the very end. I know that I'm showing you guys Callaway's nursery. It's not necessarily a big box store, but for me, it just is one of those plant nurseries that I want to continue to feature in my YouTube videos because of, look at these, like they have this right here. This is a Fatsa japonica spider's web. So Fatsa japonica, I am actually going to try to grow one indoors. I got the camouflage version, which is what I'm about to approach. This one has that green on green variegation. Now with Fatsa japonica or Japanese Aurelia, they like more acidic soil. They prefer to be in the shade. They really don't want to be in full sun, otherwise their leaves will burn. But it is another plant that is very good for a Japanese garden. I mean, notice that it is called Japanese Aurelia for that reason. And as I walk over here, this is a beautiful star jasmine, and I wish you guys could smell the blooms. These are absolutely fragrant. This is on a trellis right over here, and it is a very prolific bloomer. Now, I prefer the Arabian jasmine. Where I'm from in the Philippines, that's our national flower. It's called the sampaguita, or Arabic jasmine. If you drink loose leaf tea, jasmine tea actually uses the jasmine flowers to infuse it with that fragrant smell. And then if you walk over here, I like to show you guys Japanese maples. So Japanese maples are also called Acer palmatum because the leaves look like palms. Now, Acer palmatum, there's several different types of cultivars, so you can't necessarily grow a Japanese maple from seed to get those certain characteristics. Like if you were to take a seed from a Japanese maple, it would not be guaranteed to have like a red type of foliage. So that's really where the name cultivar is. It's literally being able to take a specific mutation of a plant or a specific variety or characteristic of a plant and propagating it either through grafting, which is what these Japanese maples are. Like this one is a massive Shishigashira Japanese maple or lionhead maple. That price is pretty pricey though, $2,999. Totally get it though, because Japanese maples, it would take at least 10 years for a plant to get that large. That's the only drawback about Japanese maples, is they are a slower growing plant. In North Dallas, they are a little bit more challenging because they don't really tolerate very hot conditions. They prefer to be in more shaded conditions. Now, in certain growing environments like Oregon or the Pacific Northwest, these can grow out in full sun and they're just, they will do fine. But as you guys can see, I have kind of circled around Callaway's nursery. This is a massive nursery, and I really hope and invite everybody to go to this particular nursery. If you are in the Plano, Frisco, McKinney area, this is again off of Highway 121, right off of Custer Road in Plano, Texas. But I do want to end this with the beautiful potato vine right over here. And then we're just going to do one more lap around this Callaway's nursery. Again, plant foldies, leave in the comments what plants you guys want to see specifically. I can do a little bit more of a feature for that. And now we're going to go plant shopping at night. So it is kind of creepy going into a Kroger grocery store. I actually filmed this about 2 days ago. So I did some day shopping because a plant foldie did tell me that Kroger was haunted, and it kind of freaked me out. So I decided that I would go during the day. And then I found a bunch of ghosts during the day. So now I'm going to go into this Kroger, which is off of Coit and Campbell Road in Plano, Texas. Again, right off of Highway 121. This Kroger is literally 5 minutes away from the Callaway's nursery. But you know, Kroger is a grocery store, and you would never really think to go shop at a grocery store for plants. But I will tell you, Kroger and H-E-B have been bringing in plants that are a little bit more rare and uncommon for very cost-effective prices. And that's the thing about grocery stores, or just going plant shopping in general. You've really got to canvas all of the different places that you're going to go shopping for. So there's really nobody shopping here. I believe I was in here late at night. Kroger closes at 1 a.m. so it makes it easy for me to plant shop late at night. I like to film late at night because there's not as many people shopping. It's easy for me to freely film. That way, like the workers don't think I'm crazy, you know, going around and filming, because I want to be respectful, obviously, with people's privacy, and I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable when it comes to just getting on film. But anyways, as you can see, every time I go to Kroger's, I like to look at the floral area. So you can see here, they've got some tulips here. They've got some chrysanthemums, some daffodils, some mums. They've got some hyacinths, and they've got my favorite Azalea simpsonii, or indoor azalea. We'll go back to that, but every time you go to a grocery store, all of their plants are typically in the floral section because they consider the plants floral. And you can see here, we've got a beautiful chrysanthemum. We've got a Hedera helix, or English ivy. And then you can see here, more tulips, more flowers. What a gorgeous looking mum or chrysanthemum here. This one is only for $9.99. Really like that a lot. And the thing about mums is, I didn't realize that they were perennial. So you can literally plant this down in a landscape. Like my growing zone is 8A. So this would actually be a perennial that will grow, bloom, and then die off in the winter. And then when it gets warm in the spring, summer, it will just reemerge with more bloom. So that's really cool in terms of like chrysanthemums. In Japan, they actually have chrysanthemum festivals. It's another thing where like the Japanese really hybridize chrysanthemums. In Japan, they call them kiku, and it's really interesting. So I hope you guys will actually do some research and check out chrysanthemums. It's just interesting how certain cultures really patronize certain plants, and I didn't realize that the common mum that's over here in the United States is such a hybridized plant in Japan. Same thing with azaleas. And then over here, we can go and look at all of these beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids. I'm just going to pan over and show you, the different types of Phalaenopsis orchids. Now, for those that have never grown Phalaenopsis orchids, I will say Phalaenopsis orchids need to be on the drier side in terms of their substrate. You never want to plant them in soil. That is not a good idea. Now, the best substrate to grow Phalaenopsis orchids, especially if you're going to repot one of these, is to grow them in orchid bark. Orchid bark with some charcoal as well is a really good thing, because charcoal is a good cleaning purification substrate that you can put in your plants. I like to mix orchid bark in my aeroid mix or my indoor potting mix. I use a lot of perlite, a cactus type succulent potting mix, and some aeroid substrate like orchid bark. So I like to mix orchid bark as well. But you can see here, lots of Phalaenopsis orchids. There's just a plethora of them. I love the white Phalaenopsis orchids. I find them very elegant looking. And it's one that I haven't added a lot of orchids to my collection, just because I don't really like long term. I think the blooms are beautiful, but they only last for about a month, and it takes a while for them to rebloom. So I bought a variegated Phalaenopsis orchid just because I feel like there's some leaf interest that will happen even after the bloom. And I've been checking this out. So this is a beautiful Schefflera again. This is for $19.99. While I think for a 6-inch planter, that's a little bit more pricey. For the health and the look of this particular Schefflera, I wouldn't mind spending that money. Obviously, I'm not going to buy that today, but it is a beautiful looking plant. And I will always show you guys an Epipremnum aureum or a golden pothos. This one is for $9.99, and I think that is one of the most cost-effective pricing for a Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. Most stores or local nurseries will sell them for like $12.99, $16.99, but at a grocery store you can get them for $9.99. I've actually bought it on a reduced price at Kroger for $2.45. And then right over here, we've got a Crosala ovata, or a jade plant. This one is for $9.99. Jade plants, I love them. My grandmother grew them as a kid. I always watched her take care of them, and they're easy to propagate as well. And right next to it is for $19.99 another Monstera adansonii. Look at the splits on the leaves. Beautiful looking Monstera adansonii. I think Monstera adansonii grow best when you actually grow them up a totem pole versus growing them in a hanging basket. And right next to it for $19.99 is a pricey, and that's just in my opinion, of a Ficus elastica burgundy. I do like the dark foliage leaves, and then even the undersides of the leaves with that red veining, it's really nice as well. Gorgeous looking plant. It's naturally shiny. I grow that in full sun. Some people say that it would burn, but even in Texas, and I tell you, we get summers that are 100+ degree weather for like two months straight, and I was able to grow a Ficus elastica burgundy full sun. Obviously you want to make sure that you're watering it, but it is an easy plant to grow. It's an easy plant to grow when you have the right lighting conditions, and typically Ficus in general do better outdoors because you can provide that consistent light. And then right next to it is a Costa Farms trending tropical plant, $16.99, and that's again the reason why you want to go to different places to buy your plants. Kroger has the most inexpensive trending tropical plants. And then right over here we've got some Hedera helix, or English ivy. This one is just a green form for $9.99. Really like this a lot. I have killed 14 English ivy so far, and I have one left. It's the English ivy Bettina. The last one that I killed, and I really thought I was able to actually make it thrive, is because I forgot to water it for 2 weeks. And English ivy don't like to be watered too much. You really want to, water them at that sweet spot of once per week, but it just dried out too long and the leaves started to get really crispy. And then over here, we've got a palm for $13.99. Palms, they just really don't interest me. I know some people are into them, but the reason why I don't really like palms, and I say this in every single video, is palms really require a lot of light. And I think there's a correlation when it comes to what makes a plant an easy to care for plant. Here's an easy to care for plant. For $13.99, this is a Dracaena Marley, and I've just said this before, Dracaenas are underrated plants, but when you compare a Dracaena, which tolerates lower light conditions, versus a Ficus elastica, or not even a Ficus elastica, let's talk about a palm that needs a lot of light. The lighting conditions aren't necessarily easy to mimic indoors unless you have 1,000,001 grow lights, and that's not always sustainable either, because grow lights take up a lot of energy and your energy bill will be high. But lower light condition plants are easier to take care of. Also, plants that thrive with less water are easy to care for plants. So something like this that I just picked up, this is a Ficus lyrata, or a fiddle fig leaf. Beautiful looking plant, was one of those most trendy plants. Every single plant interior or home design magazine would feature these. The only problem is with Ficus lyrata is, number one, it does take a lot of light, and then number two, the watering and just the consistency it requires is a little bit more challenging. I will say this is an easy to care for plant because by default an Epipremnum aureum, or a pothos plant, can tolerate lower light conditions, can tolerate a little bit more drought. I wouldn't say you want to not water them for a month, because I am currently torturing a Epipremnum aureum marble queen pothos. I have not watered it for a month, and some of the leaves are already crisping up and yellowing, so that's just bad on my part. But global green pothos, beautiful plant. And then here is a ponytail palm. This one is for $19.99. Didn't realize a ponytail palm is not necessarily a palm. It is actually a succulent. So with that being said, ponytail palm also needs a lot of bright light. I am still looking for those ghosts. I feel like this, shopping in the evening, you would think the ghosts would come out in Kroger. Like I said, again, Kroger is haunted with a bunch of ghosts. And so let's see what we have here. I am panning over and you can see this dark foliage plant. This is a Raven ZZ, beautiful plant, would make a really good plant for a gothic interior just because of the dark foliage. And then right over here for $19.99, this is a Dracaena lemon lime. I do think that is a little bit pricey for a Dracaena. You can get a better price at Walmart. And then here you go. Look at this. Oh my gosh, tons and tons of ghosts just floating around here. I told you Kroger was actually haunted. Do you see what I'm looking at? This is a bunch of philodendron Florida ghost at a grocery store. I told you guys that, Kroger's was haunted, and this is the second Kroger. Now, this is in the nighttime, and if you notice at night, look at how much look at how many more ghosts are actually in existence at this Kroger. I would count all of the plants here. I would say there's about 20 of these philodendron Florida ghosts at this location. The other one didn't have nearly as many. And I've been getting reports that all of the Krogers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are haunted with Florida ghosts. Now, this one doesn't look like a Florida ghost. This one has more green. And so that's just really interesting. The last location I was looking at also had more of a green Florida ghost versus like it being minty and having white leaves. I will say that these juvenile form Florida ghosts are extremely high quality in a sense that the coloration is really ghostly. Look at that. Like, look at these leaves. They're absolutely stunning. They are white. And what the growth pattern is for this philodendron Florida ghost is the leaves will unfurl mostly white, and then as it starts to harden and mature, it will start to darken and become more of a minty color. These leaves will get extremely large. Now, with the Florida ghost, the philodendron Florida ghost, you do need to grow it up a totem pole or moss pole to get the mature leaves. And when I say that the will give you some beautiful leaf shades, it is absolutely stunning. So I have a Florida green, which is literally just the green form of it. I also have a Florida beauty, which is the variegated form. And now I have a Florida ghost. Now, these ones are being sold for $29.99. And when you think about it, it is slightly pricey for this size of a plant, but Florida ghosts are not nearly as common. And for the quality that you're looking at here, at least for me, these are not a bad price at all for Florida ghosts. I might think about doing like a plant giveaway for Florida ghosts. I've been talking about doing a Monstera Thai constellation giveaway. Have no fear, guys. I will most likely film the reel that I will post on Instagram for you guys to participate in the giveaway. But I am looking at these ghosts and they're not scaring me anymore. Like, I was totally freaked out, when they said that like Kroger's was haunted. It really is, because there's a bunch of ghosts in here. They're floating around. And what's even more crazy is as I'm walking at these grocery stores, nobody has any idea that these plants, like these rare uncommon plants, are available. And it's just really interesting to me. Like, Florida ghost is absolutely stunning. I think it's one of those plants that I could have multiples of. I only bought 2 with the intent of possibly doing a plant giveaway. But plant foldies, what do you guys think of the Florida ghost? Do you guys want me to keep looking for more Florida ghosts? Let me know in the comments. And I actually looked at the website of that actual nursery that is providing Florida ghosts. They have a good assortment of other rare and uncommon plants. Like, they have different types of alocasia that they may end up putting in the market, but it is gorgeous. Florida ghost does require bright indirect light, a more chunky aeroid mix if you're going to plant it in a substrate, and they do need to grow on a pole. Let me know in the comments, plant foldies, if you've gotten a Florida ghost. I know on Instagram I've asked that same question. For my local plant foldies out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, have you made it to a Kroger store to buy a Florida ghost? Let me know in the comments, and share your plant finds as well. This one is one that I might actually get. Look at how beautiful and perfect that leaf is. Like, that is stunning, and the fact that they are so white is just gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful looking philodendrons I've seen, and I just like how it's got an interesting characteristic when it comes to its growth pattern. I have been searching for more uncommon plants, and I actually backtracked and checked how long it took for Kroger to bring out another type of rare plant. So Monstera Thai constellations arrived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area about 5 weeks ago. So maybe every other month I will check to see if there is a new like rare plant release. This is a really good one right here. I would say the philodendron pink marbles weren't the best ones for me, but I would say the Monstera Thai constellations and now the philodendron Florida ghosts have been some really good releases. Plant foldies always, I've really enjoyed sharing you guys with my plant shopping videos. I really hope to see you guys daily, 7 Premiere, Live Premiere chats. Let me know in the comments again. I am all about that engagement. And if you notice, I made a slight adjustment in how I say Hedera Helix at the request of some of my newer plant foldies. I want to make sure that I am making people happy, and I do appreciate the feedback. But yes, look at this. I can't stop looking at these Florida ghosts here. Like, even though that this Kroger is haunted with all of these ghosts, I don't mind it. This is one particular ghost that I would say you should summon upon your home, bring them in your home. I mean, for $29.99, you can take a ghost home. And who doesn't want a friendly ghost? They remind me of Casper. Look at how friendly they look, and they're just beautiful. Plant foldies. What do you guys think? Like, I can't stop talking about the philodendron Florida ghost. I know that certain plants shops have sold them for a little bit less, but the fact that you can walk in, pick up a philodendron Florida ghost, and choose which one you want to get, that's really cool. And I have to commend Kroger for really bringing in this plant. They source it out from a particular wholesaler, because I actually checked out the website. But like all of these plants, I am really hoping for the ghost's sake that somebody will adopt these. All of these will sell through, because I would hate for a beautiful plant like this to get unhealthy, get neglected, and end in the trash. Most of the Monstera Thai constellations I saw have pretty much sold through. There's that one Kroger that has a bunch of ghosts floating around, and one more Monstera Thai constellation. So that's cool that all of the Monstera Thai constellations have sold through. Maybe the philodendron Florida ghost will sell through. We're just gonna see. But let me know which one you would actually pick to take home. For $29.99, that is not a bad price at all. But I'm really gravitating to this particular ghost. What do you guys think? Like, look at how the leaves are just unfurled, and they are white and minty. And this is one of my plants that have become a wish list plant for me for quite a while. I didn't expect that, but I do want to thank the particular plant foldy that gave me insights about 2 days ago from one of my comments. So if you hear something about a particular plant getting released out in the market, please leave a comment in my videos, or even send a direct message to me on Instagram. You already know I will travel wherever I need to go to get that on film. And I did want to show you this $12.99 for this, red Marantha. That's a very good price as well. So you can actually get some really good hanging baskets at Kroger for $12.99, as compared to like the hanging baskets you find that are usually like $20.84. But let's go back to these philodendron Florida ghosts. These don't even look real. Plant foldies, what do you guys think? I will see you on the next one. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at the Walmart off of Custer Road in North McKinney, Texas. It's right next to Prosper. Please make sure you are hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel for daily plant content videos. I try to do plant shopping videos for at least an hour each day. And as always, please follow me on Instagram at GrowFold. You can send a direct message to me and ask me any plant questions. I will be able to respond to you. And it's just nice to see that our plant foldy community is growing. For those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. But anyways, this is a Walmart that I like to frequent a lot, just because they always have some really nice plants. And whenever you go big box store plant shopping, it always just brings me joy, because I can find plants that are very cost effective. And this Walmart particularly tends to have some really nice plants, and they're restocked. So as you can see when we walk in, what a nice looking place right over here. They've got a lot of different types of plants. So I'm just going to pan over here and show you what they have available. I do like the fact that they have quite a bit of space in this indoor section for houseplants. The last time I visited here, I was able to find some Hoya Chelsea, but you can see this is the time of the season where you will see a lot of hanging baskets of Boston fern and all sorts of plants that are coming from Costa Farms. I am thankful that Costa Farms is able to get us all of these exotic plants. The first one up right here is a Tradescantia Burgundy for $19.84. I do like that the hanging baskets at Walmart, at least in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at, have some really nice hanging baskets. So that's what I'm trying to say, and they're a really good price as well. You can see right over here we've got some fern. This fern is not a bad price at all as well. really large foliage on that fern. I don't currently have any fern in my collection, but it would be something that I will add eventually. And over here, I actually need to get one of these plants. This is a mini variegated lipstick plant. I was told that the mini variegated lipstick plant from another viewer, subscriber, mentioned that if I grow this in a lot of light, the actual variegation will pop out. So some variegation on plants are really influenced by the amount of light they receive. And some plants, no matter how much light you give, it will actually just be influenced by the initial genetics of the plant. So that's something to keep in mind. And you can see here lots of philodendron ring of fires. Love philodendron ring of fires. And this is a philodendron that used to be very expensive a couple years back, but now these have been released by Growers Bench. These are for $24.97. I ended up buying these when they were actually a lot larger. The new batch of philodendron ring of fires that I'm seeing in big box stores, especially at Walmart, are a decent size. I would say that the initial batch was a lot larger, and I am hoping that my philodendron ring of fire will actually get massive. Really like that variegation, and it's a fairly stable variegation as well, which is what I really love about variegated plants. Some variegated plants, you'll get some good variegation, but then they revert. One would be the philodendron Burley Marks. That one is a top offender when it comes to reverting, but you can see here as I pan over, really nice merchandising for this Walmart. They always have a really good way of merchandising their plants, and that actually inspires me to pick up plants like this. Look at this philodendron pink princess. This is for $24.97 as well at Walmart. So philodendron pink princess, let's take it back a couple years back, maybe 3 to 4 years ago. Cuttings were selling for like $99. Now you can get a really nice variegated one for $24.97. I will say philodendron pink princess can now be considered a common plant just because you can pretty much see them everywhere. I would venture to say there's about 30 philodendron pink princess at this Walmart, and that goes back to the philodendron pink princess variegation. It is actually more influenced by its initial genetics. So when you are going for a philodendron pink princess, look for one that has some high variegation. And over here, we've got some blooming anthuriums. These ones are for $14.97. Love these blooming anthurium plants. I actually like the foliage more so than the blooms. I will say that they are easy to grow. This is another easy to care for plant. It does prefer brighter light conditions. And then you can see right here, another philodendron pink princess. Some variegation on these are better than others. So again, if you're going to go buy a philodendron pink princess, you really want to be picky with the variegation that is already on the plant. If you have one that doesn't have nearly as much variegation, it will most likely not push as much pink. I mean, there are some instances where you'll get a random big pink leaf, but for the most part, you want to see a lot of even variegation because philodendron pink princess variegation is unstable. It doesn't really have the most stable variegation. Sometimes it will just revert back. And over here, Epipremnum aureum golden pothos for $10.97. Garden Expert, which is basically the name brand of all of the indoor and outdoor houseplants by Walmart. This one's sourced out by Costa Farms, and you can see here another gorgeous looking philodendron ring of fire. My plant foldies, please let me know in the comments what you think about all of the Growers Bench plants. I am honestly on the search for a Monstera Thai constellation. I want to go to a lot of Walmarts in the DFW or Dallas-Fort Worth area just to see if I can find it. I know that the Rockwall, Texas Walmart has it, but it's a bit of a drive for me, so it might be on another day. But you can see here we can find always Dieffenbachia. These are for $9.97 by Garden Expert. Again, you can see two different varieties. I love Dieffenbachia, the look of it. I am a little bit weary about growing them just because they are a little bit harder to grow indoors. At least if you grow them outdoors, you can provide them with a lot of light, and that's what they really need. They're also spider mite prone, so you have to really be on the lookout. Just always check your plants. And you talk about plant chores. That is part of the plant chores, is really inspecting your plants on top of the watering, on a regular basis. And you can see right here, cuddly cactus. I think these cuddly cactus are so cute. These are also for $17.97 by Growers Bench. I love the terracotta pot as well. I don't mind the texture of it. Whenever I look for planters, I look for planters that are a little bit more matte finish, a little bit more simplistic. I look for that modern century type aesthetic. Some people like different types of textures on their planters. I like to be a little bit more plain and just a little bit more modern for me. And then over here, we've got a beautiful Dieffenbachia. Again, I don't know this Dieffenbachia plant ID, but what I do know is that it has some really nice looking ghost variegation or minty variegation. That's a really nice look about it. Let's look at the price. This one is only for $19.84. So in a 10-inch starter planter, you've got a really nice Dieffenbachia. So if you do shop at Walmart typically has some really cost-effective pricing, really cheap and inexpensive plants. Like right over here, you've got a Ficus lyrata or a fiddle fig leaf tree. Really like that a lot, and mine has been doing very well. In the past, the fiddle fig leaf used to be the it plant, and we're going to now walk over into the outdoor section. And don't worry guys, for those that are into the indoor house plants, I will get back to it later in the later part of the video. But since it is spring and since I also love outdoor gardening, I like to showcase even outdoor plants. I've been on this binge of just being able to film a bunch of these outdoor plants. Walmart is really bringing it in terms of just the diversity of plants that they have, and also the prices of the plants. They have been very good. And for those that have been following my channel since day one, thank you so much for always taking the time to view my videos, to engage with me during the live premiere chats. And if you're currently watching this during a live premiere, please don't be shy to say hello. We have a huge plant Foley community that is constantly growing, and we want to get to know you. So just feel free to say hello, and also leave comments in the comment section. I love comments. I think the comments alone bring me inspiration to, get up every day and go to a big box store and film for an hour. But you can see here lots of petunias. These are the flower of the hour. Anywhere you go, you will see petunias, impatiens, marigolds, sunflowers, Kalanchoe wax begonia. Like this one right here is a wax begonia for $1.97. That is not a bad price at all. And the thing about wax begonia is they can tolerate different types of lighting conditions. So you can grow them in shade or you can grow them in full sun, and they are very vigorous growers. And you can see here Kalanchoe, $4.97. So Kalanchoe can be seen everywhere. I say that in every single one of my videos. It is a succulent, so I find it interesting that it's a succulent plant that is literally grown for its blooms. And you can see these gorgeous looking hydrangeas right here. And I just want to pan over and show you all the other plants that they have available at this Walmart. Always brings me joy just to look at all of these flowers. I don't know about you guys that watch my videos, but do you guys just like looking at flowers? Like these New Guinea Impatiens, for instance, by Better Homes and Gardens, $15.88. That is not a bad price at all. This could easily be placed into a container, and you can put it in a patio. Now with New Guinea Impatiens, they do need to be in more shade rather than full sun. There are some impatiens that are called sun patients that can take full sun, but impatient flowers in general, they need to be in shade. And then over here, you can see that there are some hanging baskets of vinca flowers. Really love vinca flowers because vinca flowers can actually be grown directly into directly into full sun. And then you can see here we've got some mixed planters from Better Homes and Gardens. I really like the Better Homes and Gardens line as well because they have some really nice looking plants. And you already know, if you've been watching my videos for the last month, I am obsessed with coleus plants. Not everybody's into coleus plants. Not everybody's into caladiums. Those are my obsessions right now when it comes to plants. I love coleus plants because Very easy to grow plants, and you know what? They can be grown into a tree form. They can be grown indoors. And what I love about them the most is they're so easy to propagate. You can take cuttings and actually put them in water, and within a week later, they will root, or better yet, you can just take a cutting and put it straight into soil. As long as you are constantly watering your coleus plants, it will root. Coleus plants are a bit thirsty though, so you must water them pretty much every day. And you can see here we've got some gerbera daisies, beautiful daisies. What I like about the blooms is it's obviously a typical daisy look, but the foliage or the leaves actually remind me of vegetable plants. I'm not sure why. And then over here we've got some African marigolds for $6.97 by Garden Expert. Large blooms on these marigolds, and I do want to grow marigolds specifically because I want to make marigold tea. They've got a lot of beta carotene, and something I really like is I love to drink tea. I am a big avid green tea fan. I love loose leaf Japanese tea, gyokuro, sencha, and you name it, I will drink it. I also love matcha as well. And you can see right here some Calibrochoa, that's how you pronounce it. They remind me of miniature petunias. And you can see here Coleus ruby slipper. So this is another coleus that I do not have that I will add to my collection. This one particularly has very velvety red leaves. I like that a lot, and I think that this particular coleus will have really good red coloration if you give it a lot of bright indirect light. You can see right over here for $5.88 by Better Homes and Gardens. I like that a lot. It looks like somebody and a bug might have started to eat some of these leaves, but that's the thing about coleus plants, so easy to grow. I will definitely buy this, grow it out, and propagate it even more. I honestly want to see if I can fill my whole front patio with coleus plants. I would say I'm up to about 15 varieties now, and my coleus seeds that I started a couple weeks back have started to really show some signs of coloration. I need to do an update on that video soon, but I really love the look of this Coleus ruby slipper. What do you guys think about Coleus plants, plantfoldies, or just anybody watching this video? Please leave in the comments. Again, I love comments in the comment section. Please ask me any questions and leave your insights on the plants that you are seeing in this video. As you can see here, we've got some purslane hanging baskets. Again, these are more succulent type blooming plants, and you can see as I pan over here, we've got even more plants to look at. And this is the thing about Walmart, especially this Walmart. There's not a lot of foot traffic that happens here, so I'm able to freely film all of these videos. You can see here French marigolds. These are a little bit more of the dwarf forms, but marigolds bring a special place to my heart because they were the first flowering plants I've ever grown from seed. I remember buying a Happy Meal when I was a kid, and they had a little greenhouse container with some seeds, and I ended up planting some marigolds, and that's how I got my first marigolds from seeds. And over here you can see that they've got some proven winner plants. This one is a Calibrochoa lemon slice, and I like this one as well. Look at that. Now with Calibrochoa, I think that's how you pronounce it, they need less water as compared to a super petunia by proven winners. Look at that gorgeous looking hybrid petunia. Now petunias are very thirsty plants, so that's the thing. As beautiful as they are, they need to be watered consistently. And for me, being based out in North Dallas, I'm already preparing for the very hot summers of 100+ degrees. That's why I'm always on the lookout for certain plants that can really tolerate my growing zone, which is 8A. And you can see right over here, hydrangeas, for instance, they are the nemesis when it comes to me being able to grow them in my landscape. I don't have enough shade in my backyard yet, but I love hydrangeas. They just remind me of Japanese gardens. They are very acidic soil loving, so you'll need to get some acidic soil. One way to make your soil acidic is by putting coffee grounds into your soil and mixing it up. And then right over here, lots of knockout roses. Now roses in general need full sun. They love the heat. Please do not water roses from the top, meaning you don't want to get their leaves and blooms wet, because if their leaves and blooms stay wet, they are more prone to getting that black leaf disease, which is a fungal disease that really plagues a lot of roses. And whenever you are plant shopping for roses, make sure that you are seeing the leaves be healthy. If you see any signs of black or yellowing on the leaves, you don't want to buy that rose or even the roses near it, because that fungus really travels fast. I think that was the demise of my variegated plant, my roses, is because I just couldn't keep up with some of the diseases that my roses were getting. I did have good lighting conditions, but for some reason I just couldn't prevent those fungus. So that's, a sad story for me, but I may eventually grow roses again. I am growing Encore azaleas again, just because I've been getting some good pricing. I was at Home Depot the other day in Prosper, Texas, and I was able to buy them for $11.88. And right here, Fatsa japonica. This one is the spider's web, although I don't really trust it as being a variegated Fatsa japonica. That might have been a mislabel by Garden Expert. Plant Folies, let me know if you have a Fatsa japonica or Japanese Aurelia spider's web. Does it just take a little while for it to get that variegation? Because right now this looks like a typical green one. Not that I have anything against it, but whenever you look at plant IDs, you definitely want to make sure that they are accurate. And you can see here another hanging basket full of petunias, and that goes back to some of my plant IDs and plant names. If I mispronounce them or mislabeled them, I do apologize. Sometimes I am running on very little sleep because I am literally going to work for 10 hours, filming plants, editing videos, and then joining a live premiere chat. So sometimes my mind is not where it needs to be, but again, very excited to just talk about plants for about an hour with you guys every day. And you can see here there are crown of thorns. This is another beautiful succulent plant, very profuse bloomer. And now with all of the succulents that I have been featuring, just remember, when you're buying succulents, you have to give them a lot of light. Full sun is best because you'll get some really good sun stressing. And what I mean by sun stressing is the plant will actually push out different coloration. They'll get some more pink edging. And you can see here we've got a Crusala ovada. I know all of you plant folies have been asking for more jade plants to be featured. Specifically, my really loyal viewer, Kathy from Canada. I always look for Hoyas and jade plants for you. So plant folies, if you have any requests on what plants I should feature in my videos, or what to look out for, or what you want to see, please leave them in the comment section and I will take a look and see what I can do. And right over here, we've got some big begonia, wax begonias in hanging baskets. And then we're going to be looking at this beautiful Echeveria right here for $6.98 by Element Plants. So if you're going to buy succulents, you definitely want to look at Walmart. Walmart has some very good selections of succulents, and they're very cost effective as well. I will be buying more Aeoniums from them, and also starting a jade or a Crusala collection, just because I've been liking what I've seen so far. But as I pan over here, you can see so many beautiful plants, shrubs alike that you can put in your landscape. We've got some canna lilies right over here. Now, canna lilies need to be in full sun. They are perennials. So perennials means you can plant them in your landscape and they will grow back year after year, which is a plus. And then we've got assorted geraniums in different types of colors. And then we've also got some Setosa plants, but this particular Setosa or Celosia plants, $8.78 by Better Homes and Gardens, has this nice purple tone to it. Really like that a lot. I love that the blooms are very fuzzy, nice texture. And then you have some petunias again. So petunias, they've been hybridized to the point where you just have so many varieties. These ones are for $8.78 again. This one is the wide spreading petunia. So if you want to put it in a flower bed or put it in a container for it to start to trail, that's a good plant to put in. And then we've got some New Guinea impatiens again. Look at the beautiful gradation on the flowers. Look at that bloom, very nice looking impatient. I like that there are so many blooming plants. And in plant folies, I know some of you guys might be into indoor houseplants. You can either skip through the outdoor section or continue to enjoy looking at these beautiful outdoor plants. Again, my plant channel has really evolved to where I want to feature different types of plants. for my plant shopping videos, because there is literally a plant for everybody. And I will also like feature different products that you can save money on for your plants. Plant fertilizer, I will say a really good fertilizer to put in the ground if you drink coffee is to put coffee grounds in your soil. Really good coffee grounds will give you some more acidic soil for some of those acidic loving plants like Japanese maples, azalea, rhododendron, camellia. So just check that out. And you can see here, Coleus plants. This one is for $5.88. I already have this Coleus campfire and it has grown so much for me. I just bought it about 2 weeks ago and repotted it, and it's already pushed out a lot of leaves to where I will propagate it for sure. I might actually snip some plants from my Coleus plants today as I do this video. Tuesdays are my days off, so I typically will go plant video shopping all day so I can have some content. And I really am attempting to give you guys daily 1 hour plant content. So if you like this type of content, please make sure you are hitting the subscribe button, but not only hitting the subscribe button, but also turning on all notifications. The reason why I say this is because I've noticed that only 24% of my views are coming from subscribers, and I'm really trying to figure out what I can do to get you guys to subscribe to my channel and not only just view it. I love that engagement, and that's really what's going to keep motivating me to keep making plant shopping videos, is just to see our community grow and to be able to talk to all of you guys via a live premiere chat. And over here, hostas, love hostas as well. So I have really been open to just looking at different plants this year. This one is for $5.47, and hosta plants need to be in shade. They are perennials, and I know that they will grow back year after year because I've had some people growing them in my landscapes, in the landscapes in North Dallas, and they have come back this year. And you can see this is so interesting that this particular hosta has a carpet full of moss. I love how some people actually grow moss as a top cover for their plants, particularly for bonsai. And that's the thing, I love bonsai too, so I will be featuring more of those as I make more of my bonsai. And you can see right here, I just for some reason love ajuga, variegated ajuga. Every time I go plant shopping, I will point that out and show you guys ajuga. I think it's because of that cream and pink variegation. And then obviously, this isn't a Grow Folds video without me saying Hydra Helix. We've got a Hydra Helix, or the correct way to say it is Hedera Helix, or English ivy. You guys already know the story about English ivies. One of the most challenging plants to grow indoors. For those that are new to the channel and are not a full-fledged plant foldie, I do apologize if I do scare you when I say Hydra Helix. I just, for some reason, you guys keep egging me on to say it, so I'm going to keep saying it in all of my videos, okay? And then right here, we've got an Aptenia cordialifolia. I think that's how you know. Wow, that's a mouthful. Actually, most plant scientific names, Latin names, are mouthfuls. So again, I do apologize if I don't pronounce the names correctly for some of these plants. Right over here, we've got another ajuga plant right here. And if you saw the bottom, it is ready to be repotted because the roots are screaming, repot me. They are already crawling out of the drainage holes. And then we've got some blue hydrangeas. Love hydrangeas again. I just wish hydrangeas would love me and love my growing conditions. Unfortunately, with 100+ degree weather starting in, the late part of May and in June, July, it's just not a good environment for them. They prefer cooler, shaded conditions. And you can see here, we've got some coral bells. Really like the look of coral bells as well. This one is for $8.77. Coral bells prefer to be in shade. And you can see here we've got some more ferns. Ferns are everywhere. Some people use them in their landscapes. I am a little bit weary about growing ferns because they can be a little bit invasive if allowed to grow. And you can see here, I'm just going to pan over all of the beautiful flowers that they have here. We've got some Callia lilies. So Callia lilies, let's talk about Callia lilies. Callia lilies are typically found at like grocery stores in the floral section, but I didn't realize they can also be grown as a perennial in the ground. So they will come back year after year. Same thing with these gorgeous looking Asiatic lilies for $9.74 by Garden Expert. Look at that. And I have been seeing so many different varieties of Asiatic lilies, so many blooms, different colored blooms. These take full sun, so that's super nice. nice. And if you want to grow these in containers, they are great container plants. Same thing with Kalia lilies right here. They make a great combination of blooming flowers. I can see why at grocery stores they are in the floral section. Most grocery stores will feature plants in the floral section, or that's what they would classify this as. But Kalia lilies, I like the look of Kalia lilies. I love the look of the white Kalia lilies. White blooms for me are just fire. I love them. They're elegant, they're calming, they're gorgeous. And over here, this is another plant that I haven't really ever seen or come encounter with. These are pentas plants, and pentas plants, I'm bringing a lot of pollinators. So if you want to attract butterflies, bees to your garden, you want to plant those, as well as any flowering plants. Now, I will say I need to get one of these before they sell through. These are Euphorbia rainbow ascot. I like the look of this plant because look at the variegation on it. I like that the edges have that neon green variegation. This will require full sun, and it is also a perennial that will grow back year after year. I'm curious to see if I can actually grow that indoors. There are a lot of outdoor, quote, outdoor plants that are meant to grow outdoors, but I've seen some of them can grow indoors as well. And you can see here again, these beautiful impatient flowers are absolutely stunning. I really like the look of the bloom as well. So we're going to go walk back inside and look at some more of the indoor house plants. So for those that have stuck around this long for this video, thank you so much. Watch time really impacts how many views we get for our plant foldy community. So I really hope you guys will watch my videos in its entirety and also leave comments in the comment section. So if you're wanting ways to support the channel, hitting the like button always, leaving comments in the comment section, and then watching the video in its entirety is all I ask for support. And you can see here, Dracaena Lemon Lime for $9.97 by Garden Expert. Dracaenas, I say this in every video, underrated plants. If you're watching my videos and haven't bought a Dracaena, please do. It will give you joy because they're so easy. And look at this one. This is another Dracaena Janet Craig Compacta. What a large version of it too for $9.97. That is not a bad price at all. Now with Dracaenas, they can tolerate lower light conditions. Their growth pattern is more moderate, but they can get very large, as in 3 to 4 feet tall. So if you want a low light tolerant plant to be put in a dark part of your home, get a Dracaena. And then over here, we've got some Dieffenbachias, again by Garden Expert for $9.97. Now, the thing about Dieffenbachias, they are opposite of Dracaena plants. They look beautiful. They're both beautiful, but they require a lot of light and also need to make sure that the watering stays consistent. They do not tolerate being inconsistent with the watering. So you just need to make sure that the soil is about 70% dry, and then you go ahead and give it a full soak. Love the fact that Dieffenbachia, though, have some very high variegation, and you can see here these are Exotic Angel by Costa Farms. This is a Rex Begonia. I haven't seen this Rex Begonia Exotic Angel in a while. This is that green one. This one looks so stunning. Now, my advice for Rex Begonia is don't water them from the top. Don't get the leaves and stems wet because they will rot away. Always bottom water them if possible, meaning getting a saucer, filling it up with water, and letting the plant just sit there for about an hour or two to just pull up the water. This is a plant that I think everybody has always started out with, and this is for $9.97. Epipremnum aureum golden pothos or golden pothos. Again, this is another classic plant that if you are starting your plant journey or in growing indoor house plants, congratulations, by the way. Please make sure you buy yourself a pothos, any type of pothos plant, golden pothos. This one right here is also an easy to care for plant, Syngonium plant. This one is the Pink Illusion. This one is for $5.84, I believe, by Costa Farms Exotic Angels. Really like that a lot. And with Costa Farms, they typically have them in just random trays of specific plants. So this one has a combination of the neon pothos or Epipremnum aureum neon. You can see that it's starting to trail, and you can actually take about 3 cuttings from this one, put it in water and propagate it and get some more free plants. I am all about free plants. I am all about saving money. And when it goes to these subjects, my plant videos, I try to go send you guys out to places where you can save money on plants. I think cost-effective plant pricing is great. And so if you are a local plant foldy, somebody that lives out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, because most of these plant shops that I go to are places that you can readily access. I mean, that obviously, if you are visiting Dallas-Fort Worth and you love plants, if you are a plant foldy, which again is what I call my viewers and subscribers, you can at least know what locations to go to find certain plants. I am on the hunt for a Monstera Thai constellation. I have yet to run into one at Walmart, but I do feel it coming. I feel like I will eventually get lucky and find them. Now, this plant right here, I was not very lucky with. This is a snow white waffle plant. I love that a lot. I will always feature it in all my videos alongside with Spathiphyllum peace lilies. These ones are for $5.84 by Costa Farms Exotic Angels. Really like the look of this. Another thing I will say about peace lilies, they're very easy to grow because they can tolerate very low light conditions. And then here is a gorgeous looking hanging basket full of strawberry begonia. This one is for $19.84, and you can see the beautiful variegation on the leaves. I like that it has a silver metallic look about it. That veining is absolutely stunning. And what else I like about it is the fact that it shoots out babies, kind of like spider plants. You can see at the very bottom there's a bunch of them, and basically you can cut off those babies, put them in water, and they will root, or you can just stick them on top of soil, mist it, keep it humid, and you will have some more strawberry begonias. And then over here we've got a black rabbit's foot fern, gorgeous looking fern. And what I like about it is just the fuzzy aerial roots it has. They look like rabbit's feet. Some people think it's tarantula looking legs, but these are gorgeous ferns as well. It's a very common fern that you will find. I actually am surprised, plant foldies, that you can find ferns everywhere. So I'm curious to see if there are a lot of plant lovers that will specifically grow ferns. And you can see Costa Farms does such a great job finding very cost-saving plants that are exotics. Like this one right here is a Monstera studliana, or what they call Monstera cobra. I bought one of these specifically at this location because it was highly variegated. And then we've got some more Scindapsus trubii moonlight. This is another plant that I really need to buy and add to my collection. Scindapsus in general grow pretty much like pothos. They have similar care and lighting conditions, although Scindapsus is a little bit slower in its growth pattern. And then Aglaonema is one of my favorite plants to grow. It's my favorite plant to grow because of the very, the varieties that they have available. That is an Aglaonema Maria. And then right here is a Costa Farms Trending Tropical. I love this look right here. This is a Calathea dotty. Look at that deep purple look. Now with Calatheas, they are finicky because they need higher humidity. Their water, they need to get water that is actually not tap water. If you water them with like water bottles or distilled water, they will do better. And this is an Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos. This one, if you give it more light, the variegation will be better. It'll actually give you more yellow variegation. And then one of my favorite plants, ZZ Raven or Raven ZZ. Love this plant. I bought these Raven ZZ on clearance for $7 at this Walmart actually, and they are doing just fine. They're actually pushing out a lot more new growth than I expected at a fast pace. And another Trending Tropical by Costa Farms that I want to buy, I'm just looking to save a little bit of money. I'm looking for Kroger to offer this, because at Walmart these are for $19.84, but if you go to Kroger, at least that's a local grocery store, you can get it for $16.99. So Trending Tropicals for $16.99. But you can see here tons of Trending Tropicals, lots of Scindapsus trubii moonlight. We've got some Dracaena right here, and then we've got another Monstera studliana cobra. Beautiful looking foliage, nice variegation as well. And then we've got this right here. This is another Dracaena that I always recommend to people. Like, if you want to start plants, easy to care for plants, get yourself Dracaenas. They like to be underwatered, so you don't have to water them as often, and they will do just fine. And that's the thing about plants, knowing your day-to-day activities, how much time you can actually invest in your plant care is key. For me, being so busy, I sometimes neglect watering my plants, which ends up killing them or making them very pest prone. grown. So just keep that in mind. And you can see here, this is this Alocasia cuprea. This has been here for a couple weeks, and surprisingly, the health hasn't really diminished. So that's really interesting. If that goes on clearance for $7, I will buy it. I will also buy this as well. This is an Alocasia Milo Light. That probably has the most leathery texture on the leaves. Love the diversity of Alocasias. Some of them can get really large. And then right over here is an Alocasia Pink Dragon. Love the pink stems. I bought one for clearance at $7. And then here is another Alocasia Ninja. I love that black velvety leaf. Sometimes this can be mistaken as Alocasia Black Velvet, but that apparently is an Alocasia Ninja. And then we've got some cute looking bromeliads here for $14.97. Pineapple bromeliads. And then so pineapples are actually part of the bromeliad family. I just recently picked up my first bromeliad, and you'll have to see it in a future video why I picked it up. But as you can see here, we've got some more philodendron ring of fire. This one has some really beautiful variegation as well. Now these are for $24.97. So I love the fact that big box stores, whenever you go big box store plant shopping, we are now able to find some of these more exotic plants that were very expensive a couple years back. Like this one right here is a philodendron white princess. You can see that there's some pink as well on that. Really like that a lot. Mine is doing very well. I recently just repotted it and put a moss pole, and you can see here more philodendron pink princess. I bought 3 philodendron pink princess for $7. And when I talk about saving money, sometimes if you are just frequenting places like Walmart, you'll find some clearance plants and you can save money. My thoughts about, the philodendron pink princess again is you have to look for variegation like this. This one has fairly good variegation. It's evenly spread out, because if you buy a philodendron pink princess that has mostly dark foliage but no variegation, it'll continue to pretty much push that out, because philodendron pink princess, their variegation again is influenced by the genetics. Now it doesn't hurt to give it a lot of bright indirect light. Most plants will thrive in that and will have a better and faster vigorous growth if you do give it bright indirect light. So that's the thing I wanted to just point out there for you. And you can see right over here more Phalaenopsis orchids, lots of bromeliads, Phalaenopsis orchids or orchids in general. You can see at a big box store, they're typically seen everywhere, and you can see what a nice looking Walmart this is. I will give this Walmart credit. They have really good plants. Their plants are healthy. Their merchandising is great. I really enjoy that. And that's the thing about these plants. They try to keep them together. Like for instance, all of these trending tropical plants for $19.84. You can see here Monstera Peru. This is another plant that I really need to get, but I'm looking for the variegated form. I don't have anything against the green form, because I feel like plants that are predominantly green are easier to take care of because they have chlorophyll. But check this out. Look at this Monstera Stadliana or Monstera Cobra for $19.84. So it's got mostly green, but they have one shoot here that is pretty much variegated, and you can see the leaves pretty much crisped out, because highly variegated leaves like this typically brown because there's not enough chlorophyll to really sustain it. But look at this right here. Super high variegation. I know I'm not supposed to unfurl this, but look at that. This is a beautiful half moon. I would be curious to see if you cut it and made a propagation of just that high variegation, would it continue to just variegate that way? That would be something that would be interesting. And then I actually was watching a video called How to Get Free Plants on YouTube called Prop Lifting. So some people actually collect stems and dead leaves or dead, broken off stems at big box stores and ask the big box store if they can have that, stem for free to propagate. That's an interesting concept. I just find it funny that there are ways that people actually get free plants, but that was an interesting video that I watched. But you can see right here, Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. Steven, who is another plant foley that I will be meeting up with this weekend, I will get you a Epipremnum aureum global green pothos from this location, because they have some very healthy looking ones. Some of them are already trailing, and that's the thing when you're buying pothos plants. You want to look for one that is already trailing, just because then you can actually propagate from it. And what another interesting plant find, an Alocasia Jacqueline. So I bought one of these earlier in the season, and unfortunately I couldn't grow it. Alocasia Jacqueline is a very finicky alocasia. It's a gorgeous looking one, but I really think that it has to have optimal conditions like very good humidity, lighting conditions. It's just a plant that I can't really grow long term in my current situation for plant care. And right here is an Aglaonema Red Siam or a Siam Aurora for $14.97, self-watering planter, very easy plant to grow. And then I would say that these Philodendron Birkin, I've just been coming out with such beautiful variegation. Look at how white the leaves are. I have a Philodendron Birkins growing in a H2O bowl by Proven Winners that I bought at Home Depot. But check this out right here. You can save some money and get yourself a very high variegated Philodendron Birkin for $14.97 at Walmart. So it's a really good deal. And that's the thing, again, Plant Foldies. I know that I feature pretty much the same plants on a daily basis, but it's one of those things where you never know about what plant finds you will find. I love reporting the types of plants I can find at big box stores. And look at right here, plant find, plant find, plant find. Here is another Alocasia Regina. I like this Alocasia because it's got that silvery ghost foliage, like that gray look about it. This one is for $19.84 by Costa Farms. So I remember finding this one actually at Kroger, and the lady actually reduced it to $6.84. I didn't give it the best care conditions, so it pretty much died back down to one leaf. The thing about Alocasia, both these Alocasias actually, is since they grow from corms, if they die down, you can let the soil pretty much dry out completely, and you can try to get the corm to grow back and start over. I've seen people actually, quote, retire Alocasias, where they basically cut all of the foliage off to let it go dormant and then store it and then maybe bring it back to life at some point. But look at how beautiful the leaves are. Now, this particular Alocasia, what I was told by a plant foldie by the name of Gaz, who I miss seeing on the live premiere chats, mentioned that that is a very thirsty Alocasia. And again, with me not watering my plants as much as I should, I am guilty of just putting that plant to not the best condition. So I will definitely do better. I am getting a grasp of actually being able to edit videos and try to get them edited and premiered and scheduled to where I'm not scrambling to edit a video daily. I'm trying to get at least 2 videos ahead so that way I can have some really good plant content for y'all. But you can see here, Alocasia Silver Bay, another beautiful classic Aglaonema. I would recommend anybody watching my videos, if you are growing houseplants, buy yourself an Aglaonema, get yourself an Aglaonema Silver Bay. Same thing with the ZZ plant. That one's for $14.97. You will save yourself some money in the long run because you won't end up killing the plant. But you can see this Walmart just has a lot of beautiful plants that I love to feature. It's nice and full. They've got large plants, and you know, if you have any questions about plants and plant care, please feel free to leave that in the comments or even during the live premiere chats. I mean, you can see here more bromeliads by Costa Farms. I do like the look of bromeliads. This one is for $14.97, and you can see over in the background they had a bunch of sago palms. I like the look of sago palms. It's just that sago palms require a lot of light, just like a lot of palms in general. So unless you have the lighting conditions that you can provide for a lot of the plants, they just won't do well for you in the long term. So that's the thing. As much as we go plant shopping and we admire plants, let's keep in mind what our schedule looks like in terms of plant care, plant chores, lighting conditions, the specific substrates that we grow these plants in. Typically, plants like fast draining soil, or at least that's what I would recommend, because then you won't have the risk of root rot. So if you are an overwaterer, I'm an underwaterer, so I don't really have that situation. You won't rot the roots if you have some good draining soil. I will say, by buying soil that's just potting mix, you might want to add some perlite to it and orchid bark. That's what I do to make my soil a little bit more chunky and a little bit more giving it a little bit more fast draining. But you can see here, this Walmart is really doing it. And I love the fact that this Walmart continues to have lots of plants available. Every time I walk in there, there is a plant that I will either find. I found myself a Philodendron Golden Violin here, a Philodendron Golden Crocodile. And I mean, right now they've got some really healthy looking Epipremnum aureum, Global Green Pothos. I love that. And you can see here too, just this high variegated Philodendron Birkin. So plant folies, let me know what you think of the plants so far. and you know, what plants you are currently growing. Again, I love engagement. I love seeing what you guys have. And if you haven't already, please make sure you are following me on Instagram. I will be announcing the live giveaway for a Monstera Thai constellation this Saturday. So just make sure you have an Instagram account for that. And now I'm going to be going to this Kroger, which is off of Coit Road, right next to 121 in Plano, Texas. This particular Kroger is the Kroger that I found those Monstera Thai constellations. I'm going to see if there's some more Monstera Thai constellations here or if they've sold out. I like to show Kroger plants, and even if they are plants that you've seen, what I love about Kroger plants is that they're pretty much easy to get, like as far as what they source out, common houseplants, but for very good prices. And the thing about it is, I like to go to Kroger's at night because the foot traffic of people is lessened. And this particular Kroger just has so many plants available to buy. They remain full, and that's the thing I like about Kroger plants. You know, plant foldies that have stayed with me and have watched all my videos. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for watching my videos. I am really surprised that there are so many people that tune into my videos, but on a regular basis, that's why, you know, I like to go plant shopping and just do all of these videos for you guys daily, because I kind of feel bad if I don't have them daily. You guys have invested so much time watching my videos, and it's just fun. And you can see here, it's typical when you go to a Kroger grocery store, their plants are always going to be in the floral section. And you already know I love azaleas. So that's one thing you will learn about my channel. I will feature the same plants because I love them, like these indoor azaleas or Azalea simsii. I will eventually buy these azaleas again. Unfortunately, I ended up killing both of my azaleas, not because I didn't give them the right lighting conditions. It's literally because I didn't water them. Now, with azaleas like this, they need to be watered consistently. Like, their soil should never dry out completely. These azaleas, care tips, if you're wanting to grow azaleas, these indoor azaleas, they're meant to grow indoors in cooler conditions, like within the temperatures of 70, 75. Anything hotter, they won't do as well. These azaleas are just meant to really grow indoors. I would not recommend them planting into the landscape because they don't really have that cold tolerance. Now, if you are in areas where it doesn't get super cold and that you have really good consistent weather, I say try growing them outdoors, but for the most part, Azalea simsii are meant to grow indoors. But you can see here lots of Phalaenopsis orchids. Kroger it's just amazing that Kroger has available orchids year round. Like, you can literally find orchids in the winter, fall, summer, and spring, and vice versa. And then over here is really the main event where I like to look at all of the plants. Now, the majority of plants sources that you get from a Kroger, at least a Kroger in North Dallas, is Costa Farms plants. Like, they actually, I was surprised that they carry Costa Farms Trending Tropicals, and these are for $16.99. So again, if you are comparing plant pricing for Costa Farms Trending Tropicals, Kroger has the cheapest money-saving Costa Farms Trending Tropical plants, because they go as low as $16.99 as compared to like Walmart, Home Depot, or Lowe's. Typically they are like $19.84. And then again, here is a Hydra Helix. I love me some Hydra Helix. These Hedera Helix English Ivy, that one's the gold baby that I ended up killing for $9.99. I'm so sad because, again, I kill plants because I don't water them. Like, I have to remember that plants can have some tolerance for being underwatered, but they can't be not watered for like 3 weeks. Unless they're a Dracaena like this one, you can literally not water a Dracaena for about 3 weeks and it will do fine. They are very drought tolerant, low light tolerant. So that, again, I just keep recommending that. That's for $14.97. And then look at how beautiful this Palea plant is, or what they call an aluminum plant. I love palea plants. They are a little bit thirsty of a plant, so I'm surprised I've been able to like actually keep one alive. This one is by Mason Farms. So Mason Farms is also the predominant plant supplier for Kroger, and I love it. I love that Mason Farms has these gorgeous looking Epipremnum aureum enjoys. Again, this one is for $9.99 in a 4.5 inch starter planter. Very good looking Epipremnum aureum enjoy. You can tell that this is not a pearls and jade because it doesn't have like speckling on it. It has really stark, very high contrast variegation from the green to the white, so there's no gradation on it. It is a slower growing pothos plant, but nonetheless it is a plant that I would recommend. It doesn't really revert either, even if you give it lower light conditions as compared to like a marble queen pothos. And then we've got some large spathiphyllum or peace lilies here. Look at the texture of the leaves of peace lilies. The only thing I will say about peace lilies is they're super dramatic. And over here we've got some more Epipremnum aureum global green pothos. Now these ones, we saw these at Walmart for $19.84. These ones are for $16.99. I will say the ones that I saw at Walmart were a little bit bigger, but again, if you're looking for trending tropical plants and you want to save some money on plants, go to Kroger if you have a Kroger grocery store, or if you are in another part of the country that has similar grocery stores like Kroger, check out your grocery stores. You'd be surprised about what plants you will get. It looks like Costa Farms is just really blowing up in terms of where they are sourcing their plants. I am now seeing them even offer to a big box store like Target, where Target typically doesn't have as many plants. Now they have like outdoor plants, so that's really cool. And you can see here we've got some beautiful Ficus elastica taniki. This one is for $19.99. So I will say Kroger wouldn't be the best place to buy the 6-inch planters. I think $19.99 by Mason Farms. Although the plant is gorgeous and highly variegated, you can go to like Trader Joe's and actually find them at a more cost-effective price. But you can see here lots of indoor plants. I don't really see the Monstera Thai constellations that I saw a couple weeks back. I'm not surprised because this particular Kroger is off of Coit and Campbell, which is a busy road right next to Highway 121. And, you know, once people get a hold of or get word of a specific plant, people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area will flock to them. But here we've got for $19.99 in Epipremnum aureum marble queen pothos. Gorgeous looking pothos. My suggestion is, though, if you want that really good variegation, you need to give marble queen pothos a lot of bright indirect light. Otherwise, it could potentially revert back to green, or it would have more green than that other variegation. So just want to make sure that you are aware of that. I like to give you guys my plant insights, but for the most part, late at night, I like to look at these plants like this, Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. This one is for $13.99 in a 5-inch starter planter. Ficus lyrata, again, like any ficus, needs bright indirect light. They don't do very well in lower light conditions. So if you put them in a dark space in your home, they typically will show that they're unhappy by dropping leaves. That's the way that Ficus lyrata will let you know that the growing conditions are not optimal. But you can see here, spider plant. I don't have a spider plant, but I need to get one because they're super cute. Those ones were for $13.99. And then here's another Ficus elastica ruby for $13.99. Really like the look of Ficus elastica ruby. Very dark foliage. I love dark foliage plants. I think they're elegant, they're gorgeous, and they're an easy to care for plant if you give it the right lighting conditions. I grow my Ficus elastica actually in full sun outside in my southern facing front lawn. So, you know, have at it. And the same thing with a Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. I have not tried to grow these in full sun. I'm a little bit weary, but the one I got for 99 cents out Sprouts, which is another local grocery store out in North Dallas, is doing very well. And you can see here what a gorgeous looking Rex begonia for $13.99. And you can see that this Rex begonia is happy because look at it, it has actual blooms. So now Begonias, certain begonias are really more profuse bloomers. I would say Rex begonias are not really known for their blooms, but look at how beautiful that pink bloom is. It's amazing to see Rex begonias, angel wing begonias, just the different types of begonias. It would be interesting to see if they've been hybridized with other types of begonias. I want to venture into that as well. I don't have as many begonias. And then right over here, we've got the typical green Hydra Helix. Love Hydra Helix. English ivy. I would say with English ivy though, you just have to really look for spider mites. Put them in conditions that have higher humidity just to keep spider mites at bay, because spider mites do not like humid environments. They really like dry environments. So that's just the key to keep them away. And over here we've got a lemon button fern. I love lemon button fern. This was for $13.99. I like the look of it, as well as this palm that I'm not really interested in palms. Let me know in the comments if you grow palms, but this one is for $13.99 as well. Palms just require a lot of light, and that's the thing. I'm a little bit weary about plants that require a lot of light if you're going to grow them indoors. Unless you have grow lights everywhere, there's only so much natural light you can give unless you have like a full-grown blown greenhouse. Here is another Dracaena. This is a Dracaena Marley for $13.99. I would recommend this one because this Dracaena actually grows very large. And look at that green on green striping. That variegation is very nice. Lower light conditions is what a Dracaena can tolerate. And again, I like easy to care for plants. And what makes an easy to care for plant is a couple of things. Number one, their watering requirements. If they don't really require as much water, that is a plus. And then number two, lower light tolerance. Doesn't mean that they will thrive in lower light conditions. They will be a little bit slower, but those are factors that I look at in terms of what plants I will bring, because those are considered easy to care for plants. Like this is a beautiful Chiflera plant or umbrella plant. Even though it's just a green variety, I like the shape of it. It's super cute, and I may eventually get one from Kroger, just because they have some really healthy looking ones there. I have a variegated one that I'm literally growing outside in full sun, and it's doing very well. And then this one is labeled an asparagus fern for $19.99. I haven't ever seen this one that large. Look at how beautiful that is. I will say this plant will probably need a lot of water just because look at how thin the leaves are. It's very fuzzy texture, but as you pan over here, lots of plants. We've got another Crusala or jade plant. This one's for you, Kathy. I always like to look for jade plants. They also make good candidates to make as bonsai. And then we've got a Monstera adansonii here. I really like the actual splits on the leaves. Those holes are really cute as well. This one is for $19.99. It is a little bit pricey though. I would go with the Costa Farms Trending Tropicals to save a little bit more money. And you can see here we've got another Croton Petra. This one is for $9.99. So Croton Petras are a very common croton, but needless to say, they've got some beautiful foliage. And you can see here golden pothos for $9.99 in a 6-inch starter planter. That is a really good price. You can save some money here at Kroger. So I will say grocery stores are a great place to go plant shopping as well. You would never really think to go plant shopping at grocery stores, but nowadays I actually go to the grocery store to go plant shopping and then buy my groceries. So that's kind of like the reverse way of going shopping. But you can see here again, I want to pan over these beautiful looking Phalaenopsis orchids. And then lastly, I wanted to show you this. What an interesting looking cane Dracaena right here. Or maybe it's a yucca, I'm not 100% sure. And then for $19.99, lemon lime Dracaena. I think that is a little bit expensive though for a lemon lime Dracaena. I sometimes these plant names are a little bit of a tongue twister, but you can see here another Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. This one has a beautiful natural shine to it, and that's the thing about fiddle fig leaves. They can get very tall. They can get up to 20 feet tall. So these can become full-blown trees with the right proper care conditions. They prefer consistency, so you want to make sure you have a consistent watering regimen. And then right over here, we've got a Hydra Helix for $19.99. This one has some really good active growth. And again, as always, plant foldies, I will be ending this video soon. I hope you guys like all of the plants I'm featuring so far. I am going to try to get some more local plant nurseries, but I have been into just going to big box stores as of late. Most of my live premieres I'm going to try to get at 7 p.m. But if for some reason you miss it, come check me out next time. This is Richie at Growfold. Bye.